told you I found you a perfect match. Chosen by science, but you had to marry them right this second. You would tell me, well, that sounds pretty whack. And I would add, you have 8 weeks to know if you really love them. You just got married at first sight. Jason and Aysha gonna tell you wrong from right. Are all these couples just disasters waiting to happen? Imagine if one of them could be a perfect match.
Welcome to A Perfect Match, where today we're covering Married at First Sight, Season 18, Episode 18, aka the most unhinged episode of Married at First Sight I think I've ever seen. I am one of your hosts, Jason Reed. With me is my co-host, Aysha Welch. Aysha, how are you?
Hey, Jason. I am great. I can only be here for a little bit, though. I think I have some plans that I need to get to. So, y'all do y'all little thing here. Y'all lock up in the recording. But I got some place to be.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know I called you over here to do something. But I was only actually available for like 5 minutes.
The worst type of new relationship person. Like, forget friends. But we're not here alone, of course. We have the Mari Forth. Mari, how are you?
I'm good. Welcome everybody to the TMI Olympics. We'll be giving out gold medals for just entirely too much information shared in this episode by everybody.
Every single person.
Everybody.
Yeah. I texted y'all while I was watching this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, am I having a fever dream? Like, what is this episode? Because it just felt like so off the wall, crazy things happening left and right. Like, wait, what? This is, huh? And I remember last episode, I said to Aysha, I said, there's got to be a time jump, right? Because like, there's so much happening here. David and Madison are talking about sexual things. MM's getting engaged. There's got to be a time jump, at least like a 3-month time jump. No,
they said we'll do a Married at First Sight time jump.
Oh my God,
we'll go out a week.
Lord, this happened within 2 weeks after decision day, which is wild.
I just
like, you guys literally told me that this happened a year after decision day when we were pre-podcasting. I was like, oh, that makes sense. I believed you.
The reunion. The reunion.
I
was a year after.
I believed it. I was like, that makes so much sense. Now that I have come back down to this all happened in 2 weeks, get out of here, man. I was screaming at my phone. I was like, what am I watching? Like, what is going on? This episode was ridiculous.
I would say, okay, on the count of 3, everyone just give the face. And if you're watching YouTube, you will see this. Give the face that you had the entire episode. 1, 2, 3.
Every single minute of the episode was so cringe.
I said I'm going to hurt my face if I don't straighten up right now.
Yeah, it's just so many decisions. They're just like, huh? You did what now? You doing what? And then just, for those of you that watch Survivor, we recently saw the premiere episode of Survivor where they like to do the thing where they do the first challenge where for whatever reason they make the survivors get into just like a vat of mud. Imagine the mud is audacity. Imagine the mud is gall. That is what most of our participants were bathed in this episode. You can't see their faces. You can't tell the races of anyone because they are just all covered in gall and audacity
Gumption,
and nerve.
nerve.
Gumption. You can't tell anyone apart because they're just covered. They're rolling around in it. They're just like they want to get the audacity and the nerve and the mess and the gall all over them. That's what this was. It's like, how dare you? And then just shining through the blackness is just Camille and Tom, like, we're still here for you. We are your guiding light. Don't forget about us. Yes, the show is going to spend a total of 6 minutes talking about us, the one successful couple, but we are still here.
Which is why I was like, are they the winners of the TMI Olympics or the losers? Because even they had a TMI moment, but I was sitting there smiling at them. I was like,
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe they're just the hosts. Like
we're not disgusted by their TMI. We are actually hopeful because it was a whole full closed loop of something we've heard from the first episode or the second episode or whatever, and now the loop is closed. We got closure on that story, and I love the fact that this episod ended with them, the couple
the couple that came in and did it right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man.
Well,
not everybody's doing their own thing. Like,
we're just freestyling this season.
We got there, right? We got to where we wanted to go. It's not the way y'all experts want us to get there, but we got there. Like, no, that's not an accomplishment. That's not what you're supposed to be doing.
Right. You said you wanted us to be married at the end of this.
You didn't say how. You didn't say how.
You didn't say they had to be on the show. I know somebody back in middle school who could, Okay. Before we get any further, make sure you go subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed, where you can get all of our podcasts for A Perfect Match, where we talk about Married at First Sight. We can get our podcast for season 8 of Love is Blind, which is we're in the thick of it right now. It's happening. So make sure you go subscribe. You can also find us at firstsightpod.com. You can also find us on the RHAP YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe and you can see our podcast there. Make sure you leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts, like the audio versions, because we really appreciate it. We've been shouting them out throughout the season. So I want to shout out Miller Savabda, SVOBODA. Title fantastic. And says, but Michelle can't stand David. Never could from the day after the wedding. She should have left the show. No amount of trying is going to make her want to be with David. It's not just the job or living with his parents. She can't stand anything about him, and it's so obvious. And this is from January 23rd. So way before we found out about Madison. These were true thoughts. So I just appreciate you just going in on your thoughts about the show.
I like the reviews that just aren't not even about how good the show is. Just like I need an avenue to give you my thoughts. I don't have Facebook, so this is the best way for me to do this. I don't have other social media.
Another thing.
Okay, the one I'm going to do is from Jess Lover. It's just entitled Excellent Commentary. My new favorite podcast from MAFS. Excellent, intelligent, and hilarious commentary. Love the show. Heart emoji. Thank you so much, Jess Lover. We appreciate that.
Yay. And for me, Sarah Stokes. The subject is top tier. And it says, the best part of my week, hands down, 10 out of 10. I agree. When I'm not on here, I too am listening.
Hey, like one of the best parts of my week is coming and doing the show. So hey, that's
it really flies by. Just like having the best time. It really amplifies the experience for us too of watching the show. Like if I wasn't podcasting, I would be listening. It had the same vibe.
And this season has this was a perfect end for this just ridiculous season. So I mean, this was great. I'm so glad. When I signed on to be like, please let me be a third chair, I never thought that this would be such a good season to do it.
Mario was like,
we are
when the season first started, Mario's like, yeah, I'll come in here and
dip in and out.
And now everybody's like, all right, I'm coming on this one, right? I'm here.
Oh my gosh. So yes, we typically cover We typically cover couple by couple, but we are going to go chronologically this week. So just stay with us. What are you going to say, Jason?
I think if this is season 17, I'd be like, you know what? Probably not going to make it this week. I think I'm just not going to, y'all got it. Y'all got it.
You're like, I actually am busy every single time y'all can think of recording.
Well, season 17, I actually was busy because I was pregnant at the beginning and at the end. The fact that this is ending in March and not May is astounding to me.
Exactly. Very good point.
Well, they did sneak another episode in because last time we talked, we thought we were going to get 2 reunions and then that was it. But now they've added a Where Are They Now special for 1 episode Where Are They Now. So actually, we're going to get 21 episodes, which is still like a very low number for the typical seasons we've gotten, which are like 25 or 26 in some seasons.
Exactly. I mean, last spring we were talking about well, I guess what was
it was a reunion when I came on.
I recorded the week before I flew out.
Exactly.
And I flew out in May, and so that
I gave birth.
Okay, Aysha, I'll take the bait. You flew out for what? What do you mean?
I didn't say take the bait. Moving on.
Where did you fly to? What did you do? Well, you want me to ask?
Like that was just unhinged how long that season was.
Yes, honestly.
Week 12 of What's Wrong with Austin? Why won't he have sex with Becca? What's the problem?
And honestly, let's be real. Well, that's what I thought. I was like, at least if I come on this season, we could just pussyfoot around. We could really stretch. If they if it gets real boring in the middle. I was like, 3 people is easier to make it stretch than 2. Y'all was working last season. But we didn't even need that because there was just too much to talk about.
The content is working for us. We literally can read it verbatim and just laugh and keep it moving. Y'all can see the thoughts on our face.
Sure.
So Jason, kick us off with what's happening.
Yeah, so we pick up right where we left off, right? We have cliffhangers this season. This is the first season I feel like we've really added like cliffhangers. So last time we left, Madison and Michelle were about to pop off, and we kind of come right back to that. Michelle told Madison, "You're gonna wait till I get over there to talk about my feelings?" And Madison says, "Come on, babe, let's go, babe." Little did we know, Michelle was one of the first babe Madison. Michelle was the first baber. We didn't know that. So Michelle comes,
but Michelle claims she's a babe girly, and I'm like,
babe girl.
I don't hear her say babe a lot. I do hear David say babe. We heard him call Juan baby.
Hey babe.
I mean, Madison did hit her with the honey first, though. I believe.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
But Michelle comes and sits down. She's like, I don't want people to talk about my feelings. I'm not there. She says, Madison, I'm really just, I'm embarrassed that I stuck up for you. I said, oh, it can't be Madison, even though she is the one that initially brought up the Madison stuff. She's like, but that can't be true. But then when I found it was real, and then you lied to my face, and I just felt like you weren't respecting me. Like, you don't respect me, babe. And then Madison says, oh, you want to do this right now, babe? And Michelle says, don't repeat me. And I just love Camille's. There's a lot of babes going around. A lot of babes. It's like, yes, Camille, do the commentating on the sideline for us.
Yes.
Madison repeats the lie. She says, I was telling the truth. That text wasn't for me. I never received it. She says, I don't know why you're acting like you care all of a sudden, Michelle. Like, it's like you even care about David. Michelle's like,
so you think that was a lie? I really thought she didn't get. I really think she didn't get the text.
Yeah, no, she did. I don't think she got. No, she didn't get the text, but she absolutely knew that that text was for her, and she was supposed to get it.
You don't think after David says, "Oh shit, I sent it to Michelle," he didn't just type in Madison and send the same exact thing? You don't think that happened?
No, I think he sends her, oh shoot, I was going to send you this, and I sent it to Michelle, so buckle up.
Yeah.
No, I think David really thought he deleted that and just was like, "Ooh, that was a close call. Let me put my phone away."
No, but I think he's like,
I'm gonna fight off the urges. He's still feeling that she looks so good. I
think he's just like, well, might as well send it to Madison anyway. I meant to send it to Madison in the first place. Why not send it to her when he realizes? So Madison says the same thing. I didn't know it was for me. I never received it. I didn't lie to you. Madison just living on technicalities now. Like that's what she's doing at this point. Michelle says, you act like my friend all the while you were texting David. Mass is like, well, you were all over here saying he's not my man, will never be my man. Michelle eye rolls and it's like, I mean, you kind of got a point, but still, like,
but the way Madison says this is as if like you're hanging out with your girlfriends and she's like, oh my gosh, like I am so like, don't worry, y'all. This guy I'm seeing, like, it's a wrap. Like, he thinks it's going somewhere. It's not, but like, whatever. And then you're like, well, now I'm gonna try to get with him. Like, she acts like just because Michelle and David weren't gonna end up together, that was okay. Like, that was the dumbest like excuse for fair game.
This is really
Mari's about to defend Madison. Are you ready, y'all?
As the resident public defender of Madison, I will definitely say
Madison. Is that what you said?
Madison, yes.
Okay.
I thought it was really funny because Madison had a lot of like bark but no substance, and then Michelle had a lot of substance but kind of like no bite. So this back and forth, I was like, what is happening?
I mean, yes.
Yeah, like, and then so Madison was like, you didn't even want him. I think what it was like David comes to Madison and be like, oh my God, our last date with the expert. Michelle's over here pretending like she cares about me. We know she didn't care about me. Like, that David went and downloaded to his girlfriend about like how the experts treated him. So Madison comes on. I think Madison, she just wanted to get across the point, like, you can't, I think she even said it. She's like, stop trying to change your storyline. You did not like David. You did not care about David. And she's right there. Like, Michelle, let's not pretend like you were into David. You gave it up. You gave up on David at the wedding. Literally in the middle of the wedding, you went to the bathroom
in the reception.
And started crying at the reception and gave up. However, Michelle was kind of making points in a sense of like, but you still took my man. Like, how are you mad at me when you stole my husband? Like, that was funny. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. I was like, damn, she kind of got you there.
I think the argument that Madison is making coming from anyone else would make sense, but you can't sit here and as a perpetrator of the crime be like, well, but I mean, my crime wasn't that bad, right? Like,
right?
It's okay, right?
Because then it just evolved into them be like, well, you're the villain, but you're the villain, but you're the villain. Exactly. And it's like, you won't know who the villain is until it shows. Like,
right.
I mean, Michelle says, listen, regardless of the fact that me and Dave are going to end up in divorce, doesn't matter. You still lied to my face for 2 months. Matt says, I never lied to your face. Michelle says,
because we never talked about me and David. If you had asked me if I was with David, I would have been honest.
Exactly. She's living on technicalities. Like, technically, I didn't actually lie to your face. I just withheld information from you. There's a difference. Like,
and I also think like Michelle was not like, I don't think Michelle was part of like the girl gang. I don't even think Madison was really a part of the girl gang. I think we saw the true girl gang at MM's apartment.
I think there was they were probably part of the girl gang as much as the girls were a gang, right? I don't feel like there was a huge closeness for everyone. I think Carla said during the retreat like she was closest to Madison, but it's not. This is not one of those seasons where
everybody was close.
Where they're getting tattoos together, they're donating their wedding dresses together.
Right.
Not one of those seasons.
That wasn't that this season. But I feel like now
Camille and MM close. Yeah. Obviously now we have Michelle and Carla.
But even though I think Carla, I agree. I think Carla and Madison were actually closer. Right. I think Michelle was not literally not a part of it at all when she was dealing with David.
Right. Yeah.
But now, like, Michelle is the ultimate winner in this. Let's be real, because now all the girls are like, oh my God, Michelle, we're so sorry. Like, MM was hanging out with Michelle after like the whole thing of like, we were both done wrong by our men, so let's hang out together at the retreat. Michelle's now hanging out with Carla, getting dinner together. I feel like before all the David texts, nobody liked Michelle. Like before the text scandal,
because they knew what she was saying to David. Like I think, isn't that what Camille said at one point? Like they knew what Michelle would. Everybody was Team David before all of this, you know. Yeah. And it feels like on principle they have to be.
Yeah, and I feel like Michelle got the friends in the divorce. Like that's what this feels like. And now it also feels like, and we'll also see that Carla and Camille getting together because like we don't want to even touch the Michelle Mass and stuff because they are just both toxic at this point. Like they're just going to, if we get together with them, all they're going to talk about, either one of them, is this situation. So we didn't want to call them. Like Carla and Carla and Camille are just like, we'll just do the three of us because we don't want to deal with that because that's what they're going to talk about if they come up here.
Can we pause for 1 second? I forgot to shout out our amazing Facebook group at the beginning. So make sure you go join our Facebook group. They have a great time talking about every single episode. Past few episodes have been 300 plus comments, so it's popping off in there. People have thoughts.
I was in there with my thoughts. I was like, haha, I'm technically not a host, so I can really just pop off in here. It was funny.
Y'all can find. Yes. It really is fun. It's fun even just reading. I feel weird coming in now late with comments.
Yeah.
You're right. But
we hear y'all thoughts every week.
True, exactly. You can find imagine we're like typing paragraphs.
I do sometimes. I do. Sometimes I see something, I'm just like, you know what? I can't. Like I can't stay silent. I gotta say something.
You can find us at A Perfect Match Podcast on Facebook. This week, the password is...
It's not vanilla. Oh.
The worst scene of the episode.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, back to the timeline. Back to the Michelle Madison brawl. Madison says, okay, so like
5 minutes.
So Madison's like, so you're mad at me. Why are you mad at David? Michelle's like, because he lied to my face. I don't like liars.
Right. Like, okay, be mad at me, fine. But why are you mad at my baby?
I mean, that's the whole thing, because Madison's like,
she got her there.
Before this, Madison is like, yeah, well, we all knew me and Allan was a thing. I am trash for cheating on Allan, that's for sure. But Michelle and David, she didn't even care about him, so that's fine. She shouldn't be mad at him. That was basically the start of this whole argument.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So she's like, then why are you mad at David? And again, it's like, because he lied to my face. And Madison's like,
that was funny.
Got me. Like, see, but her face is like, okay, all right. Carla, this is the moment Carla decides to jump in. And Carla's like, well, you could have just been honest, and you made that choice to not be honest. Madison at this point just like, we've been through this already. We've been through that already. I get it.
Like, okay, I messed up. Whatever.
Yeah. Whatever. I'm the bad guy.
Madison looks at Michelle's like, don't act like that. Act like that. What? And so then we get to this back and forth. Like, don't tell me how to act. Michelle calls Madison out. She's like, so why are you now playing the victim? Like, what is happening? And Camille and Thomas, I just had to know. It just looked like.
Wait, did Madison call Michelle the victim, or
Michelle says that
Michelle said that Madison was acting like the victim.
Oof, right. Pot kettle.
Michelle says that's my job. And Madison again just blurts out, "Why did you do this?" I'm not even sure where that came from. Right. That was a very out of context clip. Like they just kind of throwing stuff in there. Michelle says, "What do you mean? Why did I do this? You're the one that did stuff. Like, are we living in La La Land?" That's what we should have called the password, La La Land.
Yeah, La La
Land. At this point, it's getting loud. So everybody's just like, okay, like everybody, let's calm down. Let's bring the temperature down. Everyone kind of calms down. Michelle says, Madison, why are you even angry? You are the bad guy here. You are the villain. Madison says, no, I'm not. I'm not a villain. It's like, you kind of are. Madison says, I mean, I did apologize to you.
All are.
Yes.
Everyone's the villain. Everyone's wrong. Madison says, but Michelle, I did apologize to you. Michelle's like, I mean, in a text, but okay, like you apologize. It's like, I would like to see that text. It's interesting.
Sorry. SRY.
Mobby.
That's on me.
Yeah, that's on me.
You know what would be even better? Just send her like a meme of like, I don't know what the meme is. Like a GIF.
No, like Puss in Boots.
no text, just a gift. All right. Madison's like, well, you're the one that's out here confronting me in the bathroom. And Alan's like,
and then this unnecessary sidetrack. I was like, why are we having to clarify what that was?
Alan's like, the bathroom? When were we all in the bathroom? And Michelle has to basically bring him up to speed.
Oh.
Madison again says, why do you even care? Why do you even care? And David at this point is like, hey, let's get up. Come on, Madison. Come on, let's go. Can I pull you over here for a second? And Madison's just like, she doesn't want to leave. She wants to continue this fight. She's like, I mean, fine.
Madison,
you know what would have made this argument better?
What's that?
Is if before they got started, someone said, wait a second, Ikechi, you don't ever share nothing with us, so you actually need to go because you don't need to know any of what we're about to talk about.
This is family business. Yeah. You are not in the family.
Literally, he was sitting there just eating it up, had no business, and he had no idea what they're talking about. Because who has filled him in?
No one. They probably forgot he was even there.
He's so confused. He's like, Madison and David.
We don't even get to see really the David Madison side conversation, because the next moment David's like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna go. You know, I don't want to be here while everyone's going back and forth over a mistake I made. And Madison's like, it's not a mistake. It's not a mistake. Like, oh, okay, great, Madison, cool.
And that is when I was like, oh, Madison has had a few.
Well, I'm sure, yeah. So David and Madison take their leave, going down the steps, laughing their asses off.
Where are my devil horns?
Yeah, oh my gosh.
I love a good, beautiful villain, and that is Madison. She was cackling. She was there to do her big one, to bring us this entertainment, and she got under Michelle's skin. And then, okay, what did I feel bad for Michelle at this part that you're about to say? Maybe for like 2 seconds, but then I was like, nah, I'm good. You will never get those first few weeks out of my brain. Like I don't care if you don't like the person. You do not need to be rude to people. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. Like, you do not need to be rude, and you do not need to look down on people. Like,
yeah, that was big like debate within the Facebook group this week of like, was Michelle right all along by being this way today? That was one of the things I commented. I was like, no, because she was mean to this man before she knew anything about him, before any of the lies, before anything else. She started it by being horrible from moment one.
Yes.
So I don't want to hear Michelle's right camp. I'm not in that camp.
I actually think now that we kind of got to see what David is capable of when he's like really into somebody, I think he got off a little bit scot-free.
No,
Scott.
He got off scot-free here, because I don't think he was that into Michelle in the first place.
You don't think so? I don't know. I still think he was trying at the beginning before the Shara.
I think he was into it, because from what I recall, on the wedding day and the honeymoon, he was like,
he was really nervous,
giddy, like kid-like person with Michelle. Before Michelle started being like, "Does your mommy do all your laundry for you?" And then it was like,
"You live in a basement." Yeah. Again, explain this to me again. So you live in a basement for the 15th time, and he's like, "Dog, I said I'll move out."
It's like, is that what you want to do with your life? Live in a basement? Is that what you want? Is that how you thought that was going to go? Like, so before all that, I feel like he was into it. He wanted Michelle.
Okay.
Now, would Madison come in later and still pull his eyes away from Michelle? Who knows? Who's to say? But yeah, Michelle is upset. She's like, they're just coming in here together, and they're trying to push the fact that they say it's my fault, but it's not my fault. Like, I mean,
I feel like they won.
Yeah, I feel like they coming here together. They feels like they won. David and Madison are downstairs. He's like, listen, I appreciate what you're doing. Like, you stick up for me. And then he kisses her.
The jump scare.
Yeah.
I said, I know we're on this path now. I said, whoa.
Yeah.
It's one thing for us to speculate all season, but don't go kissing on the screen now.
I don't want to see it.
You were in for a big one then.
Yeah, this is just the start. Because we see the kiss, I was like, ew. And this is not the we know this isn't the first time. Okay,
No.
we know no one's fooling us. But
This
Madison,
was 2 days after decision day, right? They said,
Yeah.
yes,
okay. Yeah.
But Madison is over here like, oh, guess the jig is up. Like, and she just kind of leads into it. She's like, okay, fine, we're gonna kiss now on screen because that was not part of the plan. David has always been like trying to do more than Madison wants to do because Madison is trying to still portray this whole like we just started catching feelings. So Madison's acting like this is the first time. She's like, oh, it's the first time we
It's
kiss.
the first kiss.
They're playing this game of they have their real relationship, right? And then they have their on-screen relationship. And that's what is like, oh, this I'm so surprised. And then in the parentheses is you did that on camera.
Uh-huh.
I'm so surprised you did that on camera.
And this is where we get Madison saying, "Put me in the ring with Michelle. She won't last 2 minutes, baby." Now, it was weird when we first saw the clip, but they do actually walk past the boxing ring. They walk past.
Oh yeah, because they're in
Juan's
factory
space. Yeah.
thing.
But before we knew where they were in those moments, we're like, "That's a weird thing."
Oh no, I saw that.
I got it.
Because we knew that's where they came in. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Isn't that where they did the men's boxing date?
But I know that's where they were when they showed that when they had that.
Oh
clip.
yeah.
I know they were right next to the boxing ring. But I mean, Madison would destroy Michelle. Unfortunately, I feel like Madison would probably like fight dirty as well.
Yes,
she would take Michelle out. Unfortunately,
Michelle's a yapper. She's not
Madison. Madison has pulled tracks out like outside of a bar at 3:00 in the morning before. I'm almost positive.
Give them 2 mics and make them battle rap. That's where Michelle thrives.
That's where Michelle will kill it.
Oh God.
So that's done. Warehouse party is over. Now get a Chiron. I want to keep a running tally of the timeline of where we're at.
Please, because I am confusion.
Yeah. So now we are
so we're 6 months out. Oh, yeah, 3 days.
Yeah. No, it's 3 days after decision day. We see you, Madison and
the
David.
Next day after the fight.
Yes.
We see Madison and David going somewhere. Whoa.
Jump scare.
Whoa. For those not watching the YouTube and just listening, Aysha has put up a new couple photo for David and Madison.
It's the new couple we're discussing.
Yeah, it is David shirtless on the tattoo chair with Madison next to him. Like, wow.
That hair is outrageous. He needs
everything here is outrageous.
Just a trim.
So ironically, David and Madison are going somewhere called High Class. I was like, ain't that the most like ironic place to go for these two that they ain't got no class?
Right.
So we find out they're there to get David's tattoo covered up because if you remember, we've heard from David that he wanted to take Michelle on a date to get his tattoo covered. A cute date to get his tattoo covered up from where he wrote one of his ex's names on his body. He wanted to get that covered up. He wanted to make it a date. Now remember when he pitched this to Michelle on honeymoon, Michelle was like, "Ew, why would I do that?
Idea of a date?
Why would I go do that? That sounds disgusting. I would not ever do that." Oh my God. But Madison's all for it. Madison's here. Madison's ready. We're getting the tattoo covered up. He takes his shirt off. They do the stencil of the new tattoo over the old tattoo. It's and the new tattoo was just awful.
What is it?
Okay, it's a spray. So it's a spray can, as if it's spray painting just pure black over the name. Like, why not spray paint something that you want over it if you want that idea? I wasn't a fan of the tattoo either.
Well, as somebody who has absolutely zero tattoos, but watched a whole bunch of Ink Master and Miami Ink and all of that, it is very hard to do a cover up depending on how long it is, how originally black it is. Like, if you want a really good cover up, you have to go to somebody who specializes in cover ups.
But they could have done something better than this because this was whack. This is whack.
It's like, let's acknowledge that we're just spraying shit on this.
Yeah, it's literally a spray can with them spraying black ink over the name. So it's like, okay,
I would even think
cool.
like, okay, you got something full going on the other side, right? Like, let's make it symmetrical.
Big cat.
It's just high up, this little can. Yeah.
It's terrible. While David's getting a tattoo, they're talking. She says she's feeling better, after last night. She's like, oh, good old Michelle, I tell you, as if she is just not in the wrong at all. Like, that Michelle, I tell you, she's a pill, that one. She says she's playing. Michelle Mass is basically playing the victim card here. She says, she apologized to Michelle, but she does not want to see Michelle again. She says she knows it's not worth her breath to keep talking about it. Madison says, I was pretty surprised at that time, that first kiss you gave me, because that was the first time we've ever kissed.
Yeah. 2 days after decision day. That was the first time.
He's like, but did you like it though? Did you like the kiss? Like, did you like? I mean, I can just imagine what kissing Dave would be like. It probably tastes like cigarettes and alcohol. Like this is.
So we're just on the idea that he's gone back to smoking.
I think he's chain smoking every day. He's chain smoking. He's never has a cigarette in his mouth when he's not on camera. That's how I'm thinking.
That's
how I'm thinking.
Horrendous.
Yeah, he asked. He's like, "Did you like the kiss though?" She says, "Yeah, I really liked it. Okay.
If I was that tattoo artist, I would have been jabbing that needle just because of the weirdest conversation that I have to sit here and listen to as a tattoo artist. They're sitting there talking about sexual kinks at the tattoo shop.
I don't know what preceded this, or
no, it's because she said I know exactly what preceded this. Because he said, "Oh, it feels good," and she's like, "Oh, you little sadist," and she's like, I don't think I have any fetishes.
What the? I mean, that was such a weird jump. Like she just comes out of nowhere. She's like, by the way, I have no fetish. I don't think I have any fetishes. Huh? He says, well, I mean, my thing, like, I like to do public stuff.
Yeah.
She says, she asks him, she says, I mean, I bet you your craziest place you've had sex won't match mine. She says, my craziest place is on a Ferris wheel. He's like, oh yeah, up and down, huh? Keep moving. I was like,
You don't forget him calling her Little Miss Freak-a-Leak.
Oh yeah, Little Miss Freak-a-Leak.
I was like, David like turned into like light skinned Drake, like that, like just yeah, all these in your windows and stuff. I'm like, get out of here, bro.
Terrible. They finished the tattoo.
She says, we gotta get you some strong whiskey after this.
Like, we get you whiskey and a kiss after this. He's like, oh, I like that.
Gold medal for the TMI Olympics right here.
Yeah. No, this is even the worst of it.
Yeah, just to this couple.
They're gonna get a platinum medal later.
I'm about to say they're about to sweep.
Yeah,
like Michael Phelps style.
Setting world records. Yeah.
Yeah. In a confessional, he says, this is a new journey. I just hope she's gonna join me on it. They kiss again. She says, "There's more that came from."
This kiss was. This is our 50th time kissing because yes. In the tattoo artist chair. I mean, we saw the lady who came and did the tantric yoga for Juan and yeah. So there is no way this tattoo artist knew what he was walking into.
That poor man.
He said, a horrible job. I'm sure he said, you know what? Let me put in my earbuds. Let's listen to like death metal or something while y'all are talking. Yes. No, but I'm sure he's comforted by the of the tattoo gun, so you have to hear all of that, I guess.
I just would like to acknowledge just the leap they've taken. Like they're so far into this relationship that they didn't know how to find that middle ground when you're first starting to get to know someone. You're trying to figure out what's appropriate, what's not. Like they forgot that they were still trying to fool us to thinking that it started a week before decision day, because this is 3 days after. So a week and 3 days, y'all already.
Hey, baby. And I just think, did they hit their heads and forget the past 2 months and think that they were matched by the experts? Because that is what the rest of this episode feels like. They were matched by the experts and they're just going along with that thought now. Like what? Who's Allan? Michelle, what? No, this is David. This is who I was matched with. I'm Married at First Sight. Because that's just what that we are fast forwarding through a Married at First Sight season with these two.
I'm surprised we didn't get a confessional from Madison's. Like, I now can really see why the experts matched us.
they're trying to gaslight us. They're trying to gaslight us now. They're like what? What do you mean? David's
I'm
my match all
starting
the
to
time.
see the qualities that just made us a match.
Yeah, so we get a reprieve from Madison and David. That was a lot of Madison and David to kick off the episode.
Yeah.
The first two segments were based around them, basically.
It was a little too much.
It was a lot. So we come back to the nice, boring Juan and Carla segment. They're both in the apartment, getting their stuff out of the apartment. He asked her, so are we gonna stay friends or what? Carla's like, I mean, what's friendship to you? What does friendship mean to you? He's like,
what do you mean by friends? Like, we follow each other on Instagram?
I nod to you when I see you out in public to acknowledge I know you. Is that what you mean? He says, well, we can keep it cordial. We can grab coffee sometimes. And she's just kind of looking like,
no.
I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that.
What would I have to talk to you about?
And she says, I'm really not looking to spend a lot of time together. You can see on Juan's face, he's like, oh, okay, cool. In confessional, she says she didn't come here for a friendship. She came here for a marriage. So it's best just to close this chapter and focus on herself, and he can focus on himself.
Especially when she's the one in the relationship who would have wanted more with him if he was willing. Like, if he had been to her and had made efforts towards the relationship, they could have worked out. But the fact that it's like she had to shut herself down because he wasn't being open, he wasn't showing any signs of wanting physical affection or anything. No, you're not rewarded a friendship from me after.
Exactly.
Like, I didn't come here for that.
Like, I thought we were cool this whole time. I was like, no, like I was acting like I was cool, but I was pissed because you were being
right.
Yes. And Juan really looked like Charlie Brown, like walking away, like, okay, I guess no friendship. Like for the whole rest of the episode, he's like, no, I mean, I thought we would be friends, but
you thought wrong, Juancho. You thought wrong. You messed with the wrong one. Because and Juan's like, so what have you been up to? It's like, I mean, the last 3 days since this day, I guess. Carl says, I'm just moving, working, packing, phone with life. In confessional, he says, I didn't think we'd be besties, but I thought we could have like a friendship, maybe get together quarterly, bi-quarterly.
In true Juan fashion. I swear. Yes. Because listen, I've been in corporate America for 12 years. Am I talking Q1, Q2 to people outside of work? Absolutely not. I keep that on that laptop and on the phone during work hours. Outside of the time frame of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., I'm not talking Qs. Juan is...
That was crazy. That was absolutely crazy.
Carla, don't forget our quarterly coffee dates. Don't forget our quarterly.
I'm telling y'all, he really thought he was her mentor. He feels like he lost a mentee.
Yep.
It gets pretty awkward. They do kind of share a hug as they leave. Like probably the most Juan has touched Carla since the wedding night.
Yeah.
In confessional, Carla says, I love. It could have worked if Juan didn't have a checklist, but the magic wand will come along someday. I just know it. So that was Carla and Juan. I mean, that was kind of the end of the end for Carla and Juan, because we don't really see them interact anymore at all. Even when everyone's in the same space, they don't really interact after this. Then we get our golden couple, Camille and Thomas. They're kind of we get a confessional from Camille, a diary cam, saying we've made some decisions. We've decided that I'm going to move into Tom's place. Basically, like, F what he said. I'm going to come to his house, basically, and it feels like that's what she did. And like, we're gonna frame it as your decision, but I'm coming to move in with you. So
he really seemed very uncomfortable that she was there.
So
shoe small, shoe small. I'm coming.
I'm gonna be there. You better open the door when I knock. They're at their shared apartment. They're packing everything up. He says, I've got a strategy to really free up some space. I'm going to get you some space in my closet. I'm going to make some concessions for you. And she's like, oh, that's great. Like, he talks about parking. He's like, this is what I wanted. I wanted you to really plan things. And, I love that you're planning things for us. That's what I've been asking for you to do. I was like, okay, Camille, we know. We know the real tea. You put your foot down, like, I really think you should probably let me just move in. So that's what we're gonna do, right? Okay, thank you for actually coming up with that plan for me that I gave you. All right, cool.
Yeah, and then he's like, and I'm gonna give you all of the things. Like, you can take my parking spot, you can take my key fob.
Yeah, you can. I can. I'm tougher than you, so I'll walk more to the parking lot. It's fine. So yeah, that was fun. Carla and Michelle out to dinner. I was like, outside of the retreat, did we ever see Carla and Michelle actually even interact?
No, Michelle made it very clear that like this is the start of their friendship. Because she's like, you were really there for me at the retreat.
She's like, now that you've disowned Madison, you can be my friend now.
My one only friend that doesn't work for me, unless you want to be my Pilates instructor.
You can do my hair.
Better watch out, Carla.
Michelle's like, this makes sense because we always kind of gravitate towards each other. It's like, did you though? Did you really? Right. Carla talks about the warehouse party and the Madison and Michelle beef. And she's like, yeah, the babes are really going at it. Babe here and babe there. Michelle says, yeah, I do say babe a lot. You can tell that Michelle is in her element. Michelle's like, I'm living my best Sex in the City life. I'm out with my girl, having drinks, having espresso martinis. Like, I am living my best life. She's just giggly. She's so effervescent now. It's like, oh my God. I feel like I really
laughing left and right.
Left and right. Michelle says, Madison, if she was actually remorseful, she would have shown some empathy for me, but she actually just doesn't care at all. Carla says she's more hopeful about her life and has a better idea of what she's looking for in a mate and the effort that a man needs to show her and the actions that she needs to be rightfully pursued. Michelle asks Carla, so like, are you actually like upset that nothing came from the marriage itself? Carla says it does suck that we tried and it didn't work, but I want to be optimistic and really take this experience for what it was. I feel like overall it went well getting married at first sight. I didn't get an Ike, I didn't get a David. I did okay. I did probably mid-range. I didn't get a Thomas, but I also didn't get an Aysha. So I feel like I got a solid C in married at first sight. Michelle says, it does suck that we're both divorcees. Carla says, I heard it's actually classy to be a divorcee under 40. Michelle's like, oh my God.
Carla was so cute with that.
Yeah. Michelle says for her part, she wants to get back out there and have some fun, but eventually she's going to get serious again. She's like, will I even say that I was married at all? Carla says we're gonna go back to Bridgerton days. We didn't consummate the marriages, so it doesn't really count. Michelle's like, oh my God, I love that. Carla goes as far to tell the waiter that hey waiter, guess what? We were never actually married because we never consummated our marriages. The waiter's like, huh?
Well, look, this reminds me of a TikTok I literally just saw this week. Was like, what do you do when you're in like the middle of like, it was like a person that was like in the middle of a breakdown. The waiter comes up to give like cheese, came up to give water, and they just like stopped and waited. So Carla said, you coming up while I'm mid-sentence? I'm gonna include you in this conversation.
He was freaked out. He's like, what is happening? Michelle's like, yeah, the only time me and David kissed was at the wedding. As if it's not your fault that happened. It's just like, what? Like, okay, cool. Michelle says she is bummed about the whole thing. She's, not even really about David. It's just, she's about the one positive is that she and Carla met. She's really thankful for that they met. Their futures are bright. They baby each other and, do a cheers with their glasses. Great time for Michelle and Carla.
Right.
We come back to Thomas and Camille. They're moving into Thomas's place. And I know Tom said his place was small, but damn, his place is small.
Wow.
It is small.
It's real small.
It's cozy.
Like he's got like this much space in between his bed and his like dresser, like in his room. It was like, yeah, this is pretty small. In confessional, Thomas says, I'm happy to have Camille living with me. It can be a little nerve-wracking, but I don't want her to judge me based off my previous bachelor lifestyle. I said, your bachelor lifestyle. I don't really see anything of real character or note here to denote that you were a bachelor. Like, it's pretty plain. Now, David's apartment, that is a person that lives a bachelor lifestyle. That is a bachelor lifestyle apartment. I couldn't tell really anything that Thomas had that would have denoted a bachelor lifestyle, but it's fine.
I think it's just like the stuff they address later in the episode of like just the bath mats that have been around a touch too long.
Yeah.
Pillowcases that need to be replaced. Like he's fine with all that, where she's gonna put a very nice touch on this apartment.
Yeah. He shows her around. They start moving all the suits out of his closet. He opened his closet, and it was like Doug. Like when Doug opens his closet, you see like all of the Doug outfits. It's like all in a row. It's just like, wow, you really have like 1,000 of the same suit. That's fantastic. So he moves a bunch of his suits out of the closet to put them in the front hall closet, so she can move some of her stuff in there. And they have talk about the bathroom and how they're going to work on the bathroom, who's going to go to the bathroom first, blah, 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 in the morning. In confessional, Camille says she feels really good about this. Tom is very reassuring, and no matter what, she knows that her heart is in good hands. She's a little nervous to see how their life unfolds, but they cheer to fresh new beginnings. Great job, Tom and Camille. You're doing the right thing. Doing it right.
Their segments are just like
they're a calm in the storm. They really are the calm in the storm. It's like, oh my god, like we forgot how good this could go.
Yeah,
they're the break that our faces needed from this.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's when you massage your cheeks.
Yeah.
Like,
like when the smile comes back, and you're like, oh.
It's where you can eat your snacks, drink your drinks without, throwing it all up, just enjoy the moment. Now we now get a 6 days until decision day. I was like, do you mean after? I think you mean after. Someone messed up in the editing department.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah. So Madison and her dad are out to lunch, dinner, and I was like, ooh, how's this gonna go? Like,
right. Because I mean, what I vividly remember about her dad is him saying, should Allan sign? Was it Allan who he was like, I need him to get tested?
Yes, he needed Allan to get STD tested before they had sex. So assumedly he was very conservative in these like sexual views, but this is interesting.
He's
yeah.
Right here.
So he asked her how she's feeling with everything. She says, I'm okay, a little bit stressed, got some anxiety. She says, I did end up having feelings for one of the other husbands. So I'm like, oh, so dad doesn't even know? Like this is how she's breaking it to dad.
Tell him right now.
She says she does feel shame and guilt about how she hurt Allan and how hurt Allan is. No, well, the way she framed it, she didn't say how much she hurt Allan. She said how hurt Allan is.
Well,
because she didn't mean to hurt Allan, but
very
Allan is for some reason Allan feels very hurt. I don't understand why.
Yeah, I don't get why.
Yeah,
like
it sucks. He feels that way.
A match, and he should have known that.
Yeah,
no matter how much hope I gave him.
Yeah. She says she knows she could have done stuff differently. Dad's like, hey, don't beat yourself up. It's not all on you. I was like,
because she's definitely been beating herself up.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. She's feeling very sad about this.
It's like, Dad, if it's not all on her, who is it all on? I mean, she got to at least claim 50% of the blame. But she got enough of the blame to say to not get the don't feel bad. No, you should feel bad. like baby, that was effed up. Like that's what you should be saying to her. She says, she doesn't regret catching feelings, but she does feel bad that Allan feels that she let him on. Not that she let him on, that Allan feels that she let him on. She wishes that she was more honest with her feelings about David. Dad's like, so when did this David stuff start? Because this is the first time I even hear the name David. Like, I don't know like who David is. She says, well, I mean, we kind of connected off the jump in the gym about talking about both of our marriages. Dave was having a tough time. So was I. We got along well. And then, like it happens, Dad, you just catch feelings. You can't help it. You just catch them. It's like catching a cold. You just catch the feelings. You can't help. You can do about it.
Going around.
It's so funny too that just the comparison between this and Love is Blind, where their parents are so involved, and these people, and they're all the same ages roughly. I know we got a couple 40-year-olds, but that's the men. And whereas like they are like, hey. Because we'll talk about it later with MM and her mom. Hey, I'm not telling them nothing. Like, what?
This is a secret. I'll live in my life, and that's all. That's what's gonna happen.
They'll find out when they find out.
They'll find out a day before the wedding when I go, hey, get dressed. We're going to my wedding.
Good Lord.
Madison seems to have like a moment of like accurate self-reflection where she goes, I'm just I do kind of wonder, are these feelings real, or is this just me running away? Ding, ding, ding.
We
She's
have
like,
a
nah.
winner.
Yeah. That's basically what dad says. No, girl, no. Dad says, listen, you married a stranger to meet someone to spend the rest of your life with. And it might not be the guy you married, but you can't control feelings. It's like,
he's like, it's just the guy someone else married.
Yeah, this is where she learned it. Okay, I see now. You can't control feelings. Okay. He says, hey, if you want to try
Why do
it,
they act like feelings are just these like a dog that get off the loose or off the leash? Just
it's like lice.
It's happening. These feelings.
Oh my God. He says, hey, if you want to, you can't help catching feelings. If this was the guy you think you're meant to be with, go ahead, go for it. Madison's like, man, that's what I love about you, Dad. You just have such an open perspective on things.
You validate me so well.
Yeah, you let me go along with my craziness all I want. Thank you,
You
Dad.
let me do whatever I want.
I mean, I guess my thing would be like, if I was in this situation, would I take my daughter to task on national television? I don't know. Like, I'd probably be, I might say things to like get out of it. Like, I don't know if I would affirm her like he's doing here.
Yeah,
but I might say some stuff like it's not great.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would be like what I would do in private. Be like, girl, what the hell is wrong with you? Like,
right?
Stealing other people's men? Like, why do you think that's a good thing to do? Like, I don't know if I would go that far on national TV and embarrass myself, my daughter like that. But I don't know if I would be like gung ho for it, like her dad is.
Yeah.
But he's getting Madison's perspective. It's just like her friend that was on the phone that was like, Allan, that's so rude. Why would he burn your wedding photos? That's too much. It's like, okay, what has Madison told you? Because that was actually very appropriate.
She's not talking the nitty gritty of like, Dad, Allan was sitting at home at 3:00 in the morning. And I was out partying with David. Like,
every
that's like
night.
She's like giving him the whole story. She's just
I hope not.
Yeah, she's just like, yeah, these things happen, as if it was like after she and Allan had gotten divorced, and then she caught feelings for David. That's almost how she's kind of spinning it.
Yeah.
So I guess Dad's kind of like maybe not getting the whole picture, but
yeah,
she's
like, Dad, all of those toasts you taught me totally worked.
Yeah,
you should have seen David's face on.
He was looking at me
toast.
every time.
Every time. So we move on now to we catch back up with her. She's getting ready for her first date. I was like, okay, great. MM's getting herself back out there,
dipping her toes in the water.
What could go wrong? So she's getting ready for the date. She says, I'm ready to get myself back out there and enjoy myself and have fun. She meets her date, Brandon. We hear about Brandon. She says, me and Brandon met in the 5th grade. We haven't seen each other since grammar school, but we reconnected on social media recently, and he asked me out on a date. I said, okay, this is promising.
This is good. Okay, you can validate that he's, not a creep because you know him from somewhere. He didn't just come out of nowhere.
So they meet up at a restaurant. They get into it. She says, how are things going? Like, what's going on with you? He says, well, right now I'm staying with my sister. It's like, oh, okay. We're just jumping right in. He says, I'm actually getting divorced right now. And she says, oh, what? Me too. They high five about their divorces. She fills him in a little bit. He acts like he does not know. I hated
this part.
He acts like he doesn't know that she was on Married at First Sight. He's like, what? Huh? Say what?
You're on a TV show?
Is that man recording us?
Well, that's why they strapped this microphone to my back. What? Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So that's why that camera says Married at First Sight on it. What?
Is that Montre?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So he then tells her about his situation. He says, yeah, me and my wife got married 6 months after meeting each other. He says 10.5 years later, I figured out we were in the right car going down the wrong street. And he makes about 3 more car road analogies.
This is the first of so many. just like he's trying to say something, but is just using a metaphor every single time.
We started in an Audi, but we ended up we was in a Honda Civic. That's how that went, right? We were driving down the street, our tire went flat, then our radiator blew up. A bunch of stuff was happening. Like this car analogies out the wazoo. Next thing you know, the alternator's going up, and now you got 2 kids in the back seat. You don't know how to get them home. You know,
hey,
you failed. You don't know which street is what.
Did I overthink this, or is the math not mathing? Because he said he has 2 kids that are 8 and 11. He said he was with his ex-wife for 10 years, and they only got together 6 months before they got married. So it wasn't like he got with her 11 years ago.
All right, hold on. Let me write this down.
So are we saying shotgun wedding or?
No, I'm thinking the 11-year-old was before his wife.
11 years, 10 carry.
And if that's the case, he moves on fast. Because if he had a 1-year-old when he met his ex-wife,
carry the 2 plus 5. I don't know.
I'm just saying
they married 6 months after meeting. They've been married 10.5 years. So that's like 11 years and a couple weeks. So yeah, is that kid someone else's kid? Like, is that another woman's kid?
That's what I'm saying. I think he had a 1-year-old when he met his wife.
Oof.
Interesting. Somebody do some digging. Let us know.
Listen, we need to look into Brandon.
My interest is piqued.
Yeah. She talks about her ex. She just says, he was not very nice to me. He screamed at me and called me names a lot. So yeah, that wasn't good. Again, she's like, he says, when did you how long were we all together? She's like, a couple months. He's like, what? Huh? He said, and he says, we don't lose. We win or we learn.
No, you missed it where he was like, well, how long did you know each other?
She goes, about 20 minutes. Yeah, about 5 minutes. He's like, what?
So stupid. Oh, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Like I think it would have been very easy to pick up as if, because she said we've been reconnecting on social media. Y'all have been DMing. Yeah. So he's up to speed.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's on a TV show. I wouldn't just show up somewhere, people were miking me and putting me on camera, and not be like, what is this for? What is happening?
Yeah.
So come on, it's part of our production. They have to stay with the story
and everything.
Yeah, I mean, they have to stay with the story, I guess. But yeah, this is where he says we don't lose, we win or we learn. This is my first time I was like, okay, Brandon seems like maybe a interesting guy. Maybe a shammer. Yeah, he has 2 kids, 11 and 8. He is a firefighter. He does real estate. Who doesn't do real estate? No, I feel like I'm like everybody on these reality shows. I do this, and I do real estate, and I have a real estate. I'm just like, it is an epidemic. These real estate people. She says in her marriage there was consistent antagonistic feelings.
And he's a voluntary coach for AAU team.
Very Devin coded from Love Is Blind.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
She tells him there were antagonistic feelings with Ike. They couldn't talk about the future, couldn't talk about the marriage. Brandon says, "Oh yeah, he was probably scared. He couldn't talk about the future because he was too scared to really go that deep." Like, okay, Brandon.
And she's like, "What? So he was scared?"
Yeah. Validate me much? Brandon tells MM, "I'm just mesmerized by you. I'm happy I got the opportunity with you. I could really see this taking off." Like y'all met each other 10 minutes ago.
And again, this is what, 6 days after decision day?
We haven't even gotten an update since 3 days. No, this is 6 days. Yes, this is 6 days.
Because Madison, okay.
Yeah, so they've been DMing for a
little bit.
Maybe a week.
We don't know.
We don't know. Should we say it here now? Like, this can't be all of it, right?
What do you mean?
Like, do we feel like they've known? I mean, we know they've known each other since like preschool or whatever they wanted to say. Do we think this was like This was the dude who's like, don't worry about that dude type of dude. You know what I'm saying?
Do you feel like she jumped the gun before things were officially over?
No. Do we think that they were friends for a while? They like might be each other's plan B type thing.
Oh,
but if I don't know if it's that deep, but I do feel like they've probably like MM right now is in like I'm just out of a relationship, heartbroken, probably posting more on Instagram than normal. And he is writing in her DMs like, oh, you know, like this, fire this, whatever. And then it's just kind of sparked into this ongoing conversation that now we've led to a date.
And I do think that there is
for 2 weeks.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's
probably halfway through her and Ikechi's relationship.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I think there is probably knowledge of what's going on with MM and Ikechi within the Chicago sphere. Like when we think about Love is Blind this season in Minnesota, like that community is a small community, so everybody knows what's going on. I feel like Brandon probably knows what's happening with MM and Ikechi, and he may have seen his opening even before, like, because the way they want us to spin it is that they just DM'd like for a couple days prior.
Right.
I'm sure he came in and shot his shot when he heard that MM and Ike were no longer
on the rocks. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like maybe at least since like the 1 month or something, or like maybe they've been talking on social media, but it was just like friendly because they're both going through a divorce. But then now all of a sudden it's like, well, you free, I'm free, let's be free.
So they did what David and Madison should have done, basically.
Maybe I don't know.
Like I'm not gonna shoot my shot now, but just know I'm first in
the
line.
shot will get shot.
I'm first in line. I'm first in line to shoot my shot when this is over. So
yeah,
I call dibs on the first shot of when you're done with this whole thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Yeah. Like it felt like they just had some sort of more prior knowledge of each other than what they were
possibly. He pretty much, like I said, he pretty much kind of love bombs her in this moment. He's like, I'm mesmerized by you. I'm so happy I got this opportunity with you. I can really see this taking off. He asked her to go out again. He says, I fall hard when I fall. Like, oh, okay.
Foreshadowing.
And this was the moment I was like, Brandon's a little overeager for me. Brandon is very.
But you got to remember, this is how Ikechi views MM. So it's like their energy is matching where they're like, they know what they want. Yep. They're ready for it now. And if they see it and identify it now, then they're ready for it.
Right.
Fast movers. So yeah, that's that scene. The next scene we get is Juan and Allan getting together. I was like, okay, this is a kind of a odd pair.
Yeah.
Allan meets up with Juan. I'm not sure where they are. I don't know if we're back in Juan's fantasy factory.
He's sitting at some type of desk.
I don't know how many rooms this warehouse that Juan has. I don't know if he were somewhere in there. I assume maybe.
He's like, actually, we can shoot the whole season from my fun factory.
For real. I'm sure he probably charged the show to take place in the factory, in the warehouse. Like, hey, I got a place. Just give me a rental fee, and we're all good. Allan says he hasn't really talked to anyone since the warehouse. Juan reveals he and Carla haven't talked. He says he wants a friendship. He says we don't hang out all the time, but I mean, it's thought we would maybe be friends.
This was where I was like, oh, Juan really thought that what was happening was going to continue to happen after decision day. Wow, sir, you are.
Carla was like, I was keeping it cute until I didn't have to keep it
exactly.
No more. So I lose my number. Bye.
Yeah.
Allan talks about the fact that, he has been out on a couple of dates. He's not ready to find that person yet. He right now just wants to have fun, explore some urges. Juan's like, urges? What do you mean, Allan?
What are like urges? Financial urges?
Yeah. What do you mean? Business urges? I have business urges. I want to start doing business every day.
Oh my God.
Allan says, well, I've been out on some dating sites, trying some new things, seeing all these acronyms, going out with different people. Juan's like, oh, you mean sexually? And I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, like BDSM stuff. I'm like, whoa. I was like, oh.
Silver medal in the TMI Olympics. Very close to gold because Allan, Why? Why are you telling me this?
Once Alan's on getting to that, Juan's like, okay, I get it. Juan's like, I got it. Like I just say what you're saying. I need no more.
Alan's trying that latex. I can't even do his voice. Ooh. Like, why are you telling us? This is weird. It's like that kid that gets broken up with, and they're like, well, okay, well, comes back to school. I'm totally getting it in. So, like I am sleeping with so many people. I sure am. Yeah, I'm cool.
I'm just out there slinging it every day. You wouldn't even believe.
I'm just convinced that they told every single person, y'all, so we're just gonna be shooting some more footage. This is all just gonna be like just for us. Like, it's not gonna air. Don't worry. You can say whatever, do whatever, but don't worry, it's not gonna see the light of day.
Let's have fun. Improv a little bit.
Because why? You would not get that out of me. Like, what are we doing? Alan, this has nothing to do.
But we know this is nothing new for Alan, though. Alan is this guy. Alan is like, he's sharing every and anything that he wants to share and is not really even that shameful about it.
Yeah.
Juan says, so you're just kind of like, you're just tired of being the nice guy. Alan says,
oh, this is
no,
stupid.
I didn't say that. I'm still a nice guy. I don't know what you're talking about. Juan's like, it's like you're dividing yourself into two different people. Like, it's kind of like you're the sexual Alan, and there's also the emotional Alan. Alan's like, what? I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, no, I'm not changing the person that I am. I'm just I'm not going to be out here with this, like, I'm not this wannabe badass that's going to act like with some false bravado. I'm still me. I'm just having a little more fun.
Yeah.
He says, if something great was to come along, I would go for it. But right now, I just want to be very, very like casual. I was like, okay, I don't know why we needed this segment.
We did not.
We had to know that Alan is getting his groove on. He's not worried about Madison.
I mean, they have so much David and Madison in here. Like, we have to give Alan some good stuff because it would just feel even worse if Alan's just not getting anything. And David and Madison are getting all the attention. Speaking of David and Madison, we are back. This is their, I think, third segment of them two together in this episode. It's not going to be the last one. Oh,
I'm so glad you got this one.
So upsetting. This is now 8 days after decision day. So it's been a week and a day after decision day. We are now David and Madison as they go on an ice cream date. They're getting ice cream.
Oh, how innocent.
Oh, yeah. This is the moment that a lot of us have been talking about when they show previews of the season. And someone was feeding Madison some ice cream. Everybody's wondering, whose hands are that? Whose hands are that? Is that Juan's hands? Those David's hands? Whose hands? It was David's hands.
It was David's hands.
So he says, so they start the conversation out this way. Again, I don't know who is prompting them with this stuff. He says, I was just thinking about the dessert I had this morning, just like the dessert we had, he says, fit like a glove. I can get used to that.
Please. I literally had this. I could not. I had to take my headphones out. And then I was like, no, you got a podcast, put them back in. And I was like, no, I don't want to do it. I was like,
he said the words fit like a glove.
This was so cringy. Y'all. This was so cringy.
And this is the line where Madison says, it sure wasn't vanilla. It's not vanilla.
Right. She's like, yeah, it was just like, everything was in sync.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, oh, so y'all, okay, now y'all are back to trying to convince us this is the first time that this has happened. Because she goes, well, now that, the physical part of our relationship is there.
She's so funny.
I'm like,
it is just wild how we have basically fast forwarded through this relationship all in one episode. Because by the end of this episode, it's going to go even further.
Yeah, it's like How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, it's as if we just like zzz, we have seen the whole process of the relationship in this one episode.
Yeah, like it's so funny. It's like David says the stupid outlandish thing on camera, and then Madison has to come behind him and clean it up. yes, now that the physical part is complete,
Yeah,
we can move on and pursue this. Like,
because Madison's like probably thinking when he says that whole like fits like a glove, she's probably thinking to herself, now why the F did you
no, why did you say that? Yeah, like you took it like
you
too
idiot.
far.
We are supposed
And it's
to be
just like, imagine this David with Michelle.
It
Like,
wouldn't
even
work.
if they were there, she would have been like grossed out by him talking like this.
why are you putting our business
Anywhere.
out in the street, David? But you can tell Madison's like, what, you idiot? Why would you? We're supposed to be dating slowly right now. It's supposed to be taking things slow. It's like, I took a slow with you last night. I bit like a glove.
He's like, you like your dessert? She's like, it was okay. He's like, I need to work on. Oh,
It was so.
So Madison now having to clean up, like Maria said. She's like, well, now that we've taken things to an intimate level, it feels like our connection's even stronger. She says, in the past, I've had casual hookups that didn't mean much, but moving to the next step with you has really enhanced my feelings. Now David's like, well, I know that we talked about, just me and you being exclusive, only seeing each other. I'm like, damn, really? Like this, we're taking it even further now. And he said,
but don't forget, Madison wanted to focus on herself after all of this.
Yeah,
she wanted to ease into things with David. No rush. That's not her priority.
When you feel it, you feel it, guys. When you feel it,
I forgot.
Feelings
later,
15 days later, no longer than that. When you feel it, you have to go with it.
Mari, the Davidson defense lawyer.
Forgot you can't control feelings.
Can't control it. Can't control it. You can't do anything about it. He talks. He's like, I mean, I know we talked about just me and you seeing each other. Like, I just want to know about your boundaries. She says, well, I don't really want you to be like up my ass about where I am and who I'm with and when I'm coming home. Like,
well, I mean, if y'all are together, if y'all come home at 3 a.m. together, then there won't need to be.
And that is where David should be like, wait, are we on different pages? Because it sounds like you want to keep going what we just did the past 8 weeks. I'm ready to escalate. I'm ready to propose.
David's like, so you're going to be going out without me? Is that what you're saying? Like, because that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking we'd be out together, but you're talking about going out separate. Can I trust you to go out separate? Because you were out separate with your other husband when you were meeting with me. So, yikes. But no, David does not even register that. She talks about, I've been with exes before and that type of stuff has caused mistrust. She says, if something comes up, let's just have the conversation about it. You don't want to get caught doing something when we're just going to have to talk about things. I said, really, Madison? You of all people are talking about this? You are saying, let's not have mistrust. Let's talk about things.
Let's talk about it.
Really? You? Mm-hmm. It's as if the last 2 months never happened. It's as if she has
didn't.
She has neuralized us with one of those Men in Black. She just made us forget the last 2 months. They hit us with it, and they said the experts matched me and David. This is month 2 of our Married at First Sight experience.
Yes.
Now go.
As we approach decision day.
Yeah. Like, are you serious?
So ridiculous.
Are you really saying this? Like, to me, it's like as if you didn't just cheat on your husband with another man, and now you're talking about let's not cause mistrust. Let's make sure we're checking in with each other. If we have something to say, we actually say it. You just spent 2 months not saying your true feelings to this man, Allan, and now you have the nerve and the gall to say this out loud on recorded video.
How you get them is how you lose them, which applies to both of you, David and Madison, since you both cheated.
That's right. But no, they're different with each other. They will be different.
Yeah, but this is different.
Yeah, he says, I just want more what we had this morning. They kiss. He says, hey, baby.
Is this the platinum TMI medal?
No, this was the platinum TMI. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
The nerve of her. The nerve of her.
Hate it.
Yeah. So enough of that. I can't.
Give me a reprieve.
Right. So we had MM has invited Carla and Camille over to her apartment. girls' night, you would think.
You would assume. One would assume.
One would assume. Like, two girl, like, you're in your 30s. Like, it's hard enough to plan time. Like,
listen, clear your calendar, Camille and Carla. We're gonna have a girls' night, is what MM probably told them.
My
like,
God.
yes.
don't make any
Ladies,
plans
we're
with
gonna
your
come
husband,
Yes.
Camille. You're here with me tonight.
I'm gonna have the champagne flowing. It's gonna be great. And so they're drinking champagne. Camille's updating us on Thomas. She said, I actually kind of think he's funny now. She said, I actually be laughing at him now.
That's what
That's
that
how
love
you know
will do
she
to
in
you.
love. Yeah.
Uh,
So she's adoring her husband. Things are great. Carla, she's like, she's in a good place too. She said, like, if she has decided, like, if I need to cry about it, I'll cry about it. Which I'm like, I'm surprised Carla is there.
Love that.
Like,
Love
maybe
that.
it's just crying about what the potential of like what she
Yeah.
wanted.
it's a missed opportunity, I think.
Yeah, not necessarily Wancho. MM says she's feeling great. She's feeling free. She went on a date and she's describing him. She says, tall, firefighter, buff. I can tell he goes to the gym. He wants things. He's not judgmental. He's gentle. He's actually coming here right now to take me out.
They're like, huh?
I was like, what?
They said, what? Right now? Right now?
Excuse
Like
me?
tonight?
Like after we hang out, or
No, like right
Like-
now.
Like, oh, that's him. Like, he's here.
this is the first of 2 times this episode that MM has invited this man to
to crash a party.
to crash a party. And
What
so
on God's green earth.
they're like they're like, oh, okay. And so he knocks and he walks in and Camille is like,
Camille's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
she
Hey,
said,
this
wait
one-
a minute, I know this ain't your man.
Yeah.
I almost thought Camille knew who he was. I was like,
Yeah.
Does Camille know
Uh-oh.
him? Like, is she about to
Yeah.
warn
This is
her?
Minneapolis.
Yeah. Hey, MM is. We're now learning. MM is the type of person who loves to spring stuff on people because this is like the first of many times she just goes
Yes.
spring something on people. Like, oh, by the way,
Right. So her dog Rico greets him. He's very nice. He's not like, oh, what is that thing? Like,
was that
because
crazy?
he-
Or was Rico out in the hallway with him when she opened the
No,
door?
as soon as he opened the door, Rico like went out.
Yeah.
I was like,
quick
why is
little
Rico in
guy.
the hallway?
Right. And that's why you teach them to stay. Okay. That's what I've taught.
Mhm.
I'll show you a video. Well, Pepper more so than Cinnamon. Pepper listens. That's my baby girl.
So there's that problem child.
Cinnamon is the second child. So MM tells them, like, look, we're gonna take our time. And they're asking Brandon about himself, and he's like, look, it's been the roughest time these past 3 years. It was like a tunnel. It was so dark.
Yeah.
And now there's light. And Carla said, was there light before? He said, no, there wasn't. But now there's light. And I feel like he he completely misunderstood her question.
He really blew that one.
Right. Because he's
Completely blew that one.
saying like, okay, there was no light because I was in this 10-year marriage or whatever, right? She's saying, oh, you only find light from being with people.
Mhm.
So MM's like,
Yes,
so we're actually gonna go. Y'all can
Well, no,
stay.
it's not MM. Brandon was like, all right,
Oh,
y'all, we got to go because
Yeah.
I don't know what y'all doing, but I'm taking my girl and we dipping. I was like, okay.
And she said,
Right.
I was so confused. I was like,
Y'all lock up.
and then I was thinking, is Carla sleeping on her couch? Like, that would be the only appropriate response. response for this.
Right.
Because why would you leave people in your house that you invited over?
Yes, such a good point. I have never left people at my house that weren't
Because why
staying
would you do
over,
that?
already living here.
Yeah, roommate. Like, why
Right.
would you do that? It makes no sense.
She said, Carla, Camille, Montre, see y'all later.
Don't forget to set the alarm when y'all
Right.
dip out.
ADT, got you. I actually can set it from my phone, so don't worry about it.
And my mega apartment.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they leave, and Carla said, "I'm sorry, but you got to have more light than that."
Oh my God, Queen Carla.
Yes. Camille is just laughing at her, and Camille's
She's
like, "Well, he is super cute."
Carla's like, it's like, well, because what else are you bringing? She's the only light you got. Like, that's it. Like, you gotta have more light than that. Where's the light? Where's the light at?
Red flag. Girl said red flag.
Yeah, I mean, because first impressions with friends are so important.
That's why you should not be springing people on people.
Yes. After you've gone on one date. So now it is 12 days after decision day. And arrives to this place that is like kind of aesthetically pleasing. Like it's very artistic.
Like colorless.
Yeah, it's like all black and white.
We've had David and Madison up here for a very long time.
Oh, I just noticed.
You just love that David picture.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, there we go.
So I just thought y'all want to look at David's belly a little longer.
No, thank you.
That man got a full belly.
So arrives to meet her cousin, Rafi.
RHAPu.
Yes, the return of the king.
Yeah. And so I've known somebody with this spelling, and he pronounced it Rafi, but it could be
she literally says RHAPu. Like as I clocked, I was like, well, how is he saying his name? RHAPu. Yeah. Like Matthew, but not
RHAPu.
I'm gonna say her cousin.
He needs to be the new expert. One of the new experts.
So he's like, oh boy. He's like, she's like, yep. So like, I started seeing someone new. He's like, yep, I got the call out the blue.
And here's where the story is not adding up, because she says, well, me and Ike, we're not together anymore. He's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry to hear about that. And then she's like, I have seen someone. He's like, yeah, I already knew. Like, okay. So did you not know, or did you already know? I don't know.
Wait, what do you mean?
Because he sounded like he was surprised that she and Ike like.
Oh, he didn't sound surprised. He sounded like he was like, oh yeah.
Well, I mean, because she told him. She had to tell him. And it's like,
that was
why are you telling me? I already know.
Is a production, like,
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Out of the way, so he knew. He knew.
Yeah, I know that he knew, but it's like the show is trying to like. She first springs on him. He's like, hey, by the way, me and Ike broke up, and also I'm seeing someone new. He's like, I already knew you're seeing someone new, so I also knew that you broke with Ike. It didn't match.
Yeah.
So he said that Brandon had called him out the blue. He was like, I've known him for a while. Y'all have something in common. Y'all both going through a divorce. He's like, look, I rock with him, but he has been married for 10 years, so keep that in mind. And we get a confessional from was like, I know no one saw this coming, but we're all in. And so she tells her cousin, look, he's actually coming today. And her cousin's like, oh, okay. So in comes Brandon. He like daps him up, and they're like, he's like, hey man, it's been a couple years. And then and Brandon kiss in front of her cousin, and her cousin's like, oh, okay. Like,
got this level. Okay.
Yeah. Got it. And so he's like, yeah, small world. Her cousin was like, small world we live in. And Brandon's like, yeah, like he's like, how you been? And Brandon's like, yeah, I've been dealing with my divorce. A divorce so fresh that he still has the tan line for his wedding ring.
I'm trying to look at
you can't see it in this picture, but you could see it in this scene. I was like, dang, that is fresh.
This is too much.
it just hits different. And so his cousin said, look, at the end of the day, or her cousin said, like, the end of the day, y'all do both have baggage that you're coming into this with, good or bad. And Brandon's like, look, I don't want a million girls. I want one girl, a million ways.
Oh, brother. This is another Ike, because Ike was saying the same type of dumb stuff.
It's like, but it's different. It's like, yes, it is the typical, like, I'm saying this stuff because I know it's going to hit, but it's packaged differently. Whereas like Brandon is a way more confident version of like Ike, which is it's really hard to compare the two in my mind, because it's like, okay, he's a firefighter. He's like confident in his everyday life, where Ike is still trying to figure himself out.
Yeah, I guess
But,
it just
it's
it still to
still
me seems too practiced and too rehearsed for me. Like it
exactly.
doesn't feel authentic. It
Yeah,
feels like pickup lines, you know.
it does, and
I mean,
it as much as I'm like, yeah, girl, like I'm rooting for her. I'll stand by MM, but like the red flags are
red flagging.
very, very red. They like
Yeah.
I don't know, the brightest of reds. Especially since he is on his sister's couch. Not I mean, that's not the part, but it's just like, I guess we'll get to it later, but it's a lot of red flags. It's just too
Yeah.
fast. Like, why would you want to go
Right.
from one 10-year committed marriage relationship right into another committed marriage for like that's supposed to be
'Cause
for forever?
One
And
girl a million different ways.
no, I
Well, I
don't know.
mean, her cousin peeps it. He's like, look, that's a perfect line. He's like, I'm not trying to say it's a line, but that's a perfect line. He was like, and you have 2 kids. How are you gonna handle that? And they say that they've talked about kids. Brandon is open to kids. MM is not in a rush to have kids, but she's 38.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, but maybe she's in a place where she is content with him bringing in 2 kids, right? So like she doesn't
also
have
said
to
she
have
was-
kids of her own.
Yeah, she said she was open to it, but it's like she said, I really, really want kids.
Yeah, she said, I'm not rushing into having kids now.
Yeah.
And so her cousin says at the end of the day, like, you're trying to win me over with words, but he's like, what Bubba Smith say?
That was funny.
I screamed.
Got him.
Oh my god, so good.
No idea. He cannot remember Ikechi's name for the life of him.
Love
And
it.
he was like, look, her cousin said, look, I was in this position a month ago. He's like, so I'm trying to really like figure this out. He's like, but I do give y'all my blessing.
So hilarious. Oh my god, he is so funny. Like, we need more Rafi, whatever his name is.
And so we get a confessional from MM, and she's like, she doesn't think she would have moved this fast if she hadn't have done Married at First Sight. Then we get this awkward, like, Brandon standing as if he's doing a confessional, and the producer is like, all right, so what's next for y'all? And he doesn't say anything. MM is outside, maybe saying goodbye to her cousin. She comes inside, and then Brandon turns her around, they hug, and then he gets on his knee and proposes.
I said, oh,
like
no.
for marriage.
I said no.
With
I
no
said
ring.
no.
With
I
no
said
ring. Not a ring in sight.
I said out loud. I said no. No.
I was like, and then the producer told MM, she said, are you like, Brandon wasn't there. The producer was like, are you scared at all? She's like, I'm not scared. He made it clear he wants this forever.
Girl.
Like she has to acknowledge that she's coming from such a drastically different situation that there have to be some walls up. Like even you got to have at least the skinniest wall up at this point.
I think this is just a reaction to everything she's been through. This is like she wants it so bad, and she just came out of this such a bad spot. And the fact that he gives her all the things Ike was not giving her, attention, nice words. I think she's just grabbing at the first thing she can see, and I think he clocked that about her. And he's feeding into what she needs. I don't get a good vibe off him. I really don't.
I know.
Yeah,
I really want to like root, but it just feels weird.
Yeah.
It would be one thing.
It feels like for the TV.
Yeah. It would be one thing if he came in like Jasmine's guy, where it's like they started dating. Like she just got engaged. Yeah, homeboy. She just got engaged. Whereas like, okay, you come in, you're on cloud 9 because you find a person that you like. Okay, yeah, great, right? Continue to get to know each other. Continue to like experience life together. Maybe finish your divorces. I don't know.
Like date, like have fun dating.
Yeah,
like why does it need to jump to this marriage place so fast? Like Aysha just said, you're both in the middle of a divorce. Like why does it need to be this fast? It just does not smell right at all to me from this Brandon guy. And I just feel like I said, she's been through the ringer the past 2 months, and she's just jumping at the first thing that looks good. So
Yeah. Okay. And so yeah, now they are engaged without a ring just yet. So we hop over back to Madison and David. Unfortunately.
They came back on the screen. I was like, again? We still got more with them?
They said we gotta put in eight weeks worth of stuff for them.
Yeah, for real. I said, have we not had enough? This is not an official couple. Why are we doing this?
They are an official couple.
Man,
get with it or get lost.
What do you want? You want more of Juan and Carla?
Yeah, fine. Like, this is gross. I hate this.
So we have Madison and David back. They are all dressed up. Well, David has on a collared shirt once again.
That's dressed up for me.
Madison is all dolled up. They're at a restaurant called Adelina, and I had to look it up because I had to see what is David willing to do when he is head over heels like this. And
it's a far cry from Applebee's. That's my usual go-to.
Right. And I will say the cheapest entree is $35. The most expensive entree is $195.
Which is probably what he got, because he got that steak. That had to be a steak.
Was it the tomahawk?
It looked like it.
Did it have pasta too?
But let's be real. Production paid for this, so let's not get it twisted. He did not pay for this meal. Production pays for their dates.
But they're not a couple.
They don't care. They're showing this date. They're going to pay for it
on TV, so they'll pay for it.
That's probably why
why did no one tell Michelle that? They could have had some nice dates.
She not going on a date with that man.
Right. She barely wanted to be on camera with him for most of it.
So they sit down. He's like, "You look beautiful." She's like, "You look so handsome." She's like, "The girls are girling," because he was like, "Yummy."
Yeah, it's always got to jump to sexual with them immediately.
That's what their relationship has been. That's why we know they've been gone. Like, it's been like they probably cooled off. Like, they had the honeymoon. They were like, "Oh, okay, I'm kind of intrigued by this person." Come back a week, maybe. They're like, "I gotta get back to them." And then it just took off from there. I don't think there was much, like, I definitely think their relationship started before the 1 month.
Well, we'll find out next week, it looks like, or during one of those reunions.
Mari, don't fall.
Not next week. Yeah,
don't fall. No, don't fall for the editing. Just think they're going to be honest with us and tell us when it actually happened. They're not.
We're going to find out exactly how this happened.
If it's a year later,
no.
Because why? Because then who cares?
No, they're never going to admit when it actually happened. They're never going to do that. I don't think they're ever going to say. I don't think they're ever going to say, like, me and David started effing around a month into their relationships. They're never going to tell us that. Never. They're going to stick with this story forever, I think.
Well, even whatever they say, then we can assume it was before that.
Oh
yeah, God. But I want an actual. I want Michelle, Aysha. I want an actual timeline. Like, I want a PowerPoint presentation from Madison.
They can prove it though. What if the reunion? They're like, we can. Y'all had cameras in your apartments.
Very true.
They can get around that. We've seen them get around the cameras in the apartments before on other seasons, and they both. Well, not both. Madison has an apartment of her own with no cameras. So like. Mm-hmm. They didn't have to be effing around.
Not true. Shared apartment. Are you saying they wouldn't go back to David's basement?
I don't know. Who knows? Madison could be very well acquainted with David's parents at this point. We don't know.
Right. Yeah. So Madison's like, okay, what's happening tonight? And he's like, we're gonna go get some drinks, and I got us a hotel.
What they
yeah, baby.
Hey, baby.
And so then they kiss over the table. They can't stop kissing. And then he gets her an espresso martini that says, "You look so damn fine. I can't wait to eat you up." I could eat you up, which is I laughed. I laughed.
This is
it was funny.
The gall, the nerve, just make this into a complete joke.
The text that started it all.
Remember when I was cheating on my marriage with you, and I accidentally texted my wife? Isn't that crazy?
Such a funny story to tell our kids one day.
So Daddy was married.
to this evil witch named Michelle.
We hate her. Oh my gosh. Okay, so she thought that was hilarious. I chuckled. But
just the fact that they can make a joke of it now is just like,
and we're
y'all have
2 weeks
no
out.
shame. There's no shame. Bring
I
back
love it.
shame.
I
Bring
love
back
it.
shame. Shame them.
No, this is what being a reality TV villain is all about. Step
very
into
true.
that negativity, embrace it.
Bring back shame and bring back secrets. People don't
No.
know how to keep a secret no more.
Never.
Well, I mean, listen, yeah, Mari's right. We would not have one of the best. Maybe we'll talk about it at the end of the season. One of the best MAFS seasons ever. If this never came to light, imagine the world we live in if this never came to light. Michelle and David would have faked out their whole relationship for the last remaining 4 weeks of this thing. Madison would have let Allan on and broke his heart on decision day, probably, and it would have been not nearly as
The retreat
entertaining.
would have been boring.
Yeah, totally.
So she's excited for what's to come. He says this just feels right. He's most excited for creating memories that she won't forget.
You're making me do the thing I was doing during the show.
She's like, it really does take the right person to bring out the right qualities in you. And she's just basically complimenting the effort that he's put in for this dinner because this is for her birthday.
Yeah.
So she's like I will put the time in a marriage, but I just couldn't with Allan because he wasn't the right person. I am a hopeless romantic.
So why wasn't Allan the right person? Because of his jokes,
No, because David was
better, right?
No, just because Allan did not fit the look that she wanted. He was not a pretty boy. Like, let's be real. Like, you can tell
as we look at the picture of shirtless David.
But I mean, yeah, surely David, no. But David,
no, I do think she could see her. I think she does see him as a pretty boy. I think she sees that he cares about his hair. He keeps his beard groomed.
It's
always lined up. Like that's a pretty boy in her eyes.
Yes, man buns, like all of that. Like that is the look. And Allan just didn't have it. And she wouldn't even like look at all the stuff that we've been seeing of Madison and David since they've been together. Like Madison's been putting on makeup every
left
segment.
and right.
She has stopped wearing the Fabletics outfits.
Exactly.
Like she has gotten dressed up for David. That's for sure.
That's what I'm saying. It's like when Allan said a few weeks back, like he doesn't feel like she likes to like parade him around on her arm. Like that's what Madison likes. Madison likes getting dressed up and having a man that she can hang on to. Like that's what she wanted. And Allan just was not it. And she could not get past the superficial. Yes, that is sorry. It's in Jason. Like bigger bod, beards. You get a beard that you automatically go up 10 points, like it is what it is.
Gotta do that.
It is what it is.
Maybe I should get back out there. Tell my wife it's over.
I don't want to witness a murder here. Like what is that?
You would. But no, but David's like, I mean, I feel like I'm more of an Allan than a David for sure. So I would definitely get the short end of the stick in the dating world now. I'm glad I don't have to deal with any of that. But David is what she's like searching for. That's interesting.
On such a superficial, basic level.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes. David he ends his dinner saying he could see himself proposing to her.
And yes, and I'm sorry, but when he is like, again, he's very sweet, like very sweet with her. Like, I get it. We hate them, but this is cute. Like you can just tell that they are actually in it. We've seen a whole season of them not being in it, especially Madison. Madison.
And here's the thing, right? Because if Madison had been honest from the jump, in matchmaking special to the experts and not been like, I don't want I want only a Caucasian man. I don't want any gym people. Because that's what her thing was. I have been with so many gym pretty boys that have treated me terrible in the past. Give me the opposite of that. I don't want that anymore. But if they had given her that, they could have had this the whole 2 months. Because they would make a, like, I'll give it to them. They would make a good couple because they seem to be compatible in many different ways. They speak the same type of dirty sexual language.
They seem to be into each other.
Yeah. So if Madison had just been honest from this jump in matchmaking and be like, yeah, the type of person David is kind of my type. Like, so give me my type. Just make sure he's not.
He's nice. Exactly.
He's nice. Right. Exactly.
Exactly. I completely agree with you.
And if they had matched them from jump, they would have been a successful couple. We would have watched this today and been like, look at this. Right up there with Thomas and Camille, a successful couple. We wouldn't be going, right.
Well, we probably might still be.
We probably would still be because they're so raunchy with it.
Yeah.
They're so uncouth with their talk. But we would count this as a successful couple if they had just been that from the start. They probably should have been.
And that's what it was. Madison like lied to herself. She said, I want the opposite of what I've dated. No, you want what you've dated, just nicer. And fortunately, I think that is David. David is a gym rat. He's cute enough, and he is treating her well. From what he's shown us, he treats her well. He's treating her well, and he can treat somebody well. Like I saw a lot of comments in the Facebook group. It's like everybody's like, oh, now we're seeing their true colors. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're seeing David, the mask came off. It's the true colors. MM's true colors are showing. Like, guys, it's not about true colors. It's changing based on the information you are given. You know what I'm saying? Like, people aren't stagnant. Like your personalities and stuff like that. It's not stagnant, especially when you're encountering new like stimuli. Like these people were new to each other. They started out a certain way, and then as they gained more information, they changed. It does not mean that like, oh, they were faking the whole time. It just, I mean, there are some moments we can say whatever, but I'm just saying, like, it's not about faking. It's just about changing towards your environment, like what you're going through.
Well, I mean, they were both faking at certain points.
Yes, right? I mean, Madison was really putting on a show,
and so was David. David was talking to experts. He was like, I really want this to work, all the while talking to Madison. So, and I also think when I say true colors for Madison, I mean her true colors are how she acted at that warehouse party, of like how nasty she can get, how like, how mean she can be. Those are Madison's true colors to me. Also, same kind of thing with David, where he's like, I don't care about you, I don't care. So where he can get kind of nasty and kind of mean. I think those are true colors for me. So I don't want to excuse anybody in any of this because
it's not an excuse. I don't think it's an excuse. I'm just saying, like, it. I don't know. What we're seeing is like it always has to be like, oh, like I saw an MM one where it's like, now I'm wondering what MM was like off camera. Like maybe Aysha was right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like, y'all, people change based on what they're being presented. Like that's what you're supposed to do. I think people forget when you're presented with new information, you're supposed to like process
adapt.
It and then adapt. Like, yeah. So that's all I mean. I'm not saying in like the broadest strokes, like some of these people weren't putting on for a camera, because honestly, most of them were. Now, we're not going to talk about last season and how egregious that was last season, or we still don't even know what was going on there and who was faking what for that. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, this is we got to see the journeys of like 10 people this season, and it was a train wreck. It was amazingly
in the best way.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's like, calm down. Like, you don't have to pick, like, the one person doesn't have to be right because the other person is like, you don't have to do that.
You don't have to be a team somebody. You can be a team. You can be a team. They both suck, which is what I am.
Right. The team they all three suck. Yeah.
With the team David and Michelle, they both suck.
Your shit.
I can't be a team anyone in that. Like they both are in the wrong here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we definitely get too much on the like I have to pick a side.
Yeah.
Thing. You don't have to pick a side. You can just say they both have their faults. They both may suck.
Exactly.
Like we'll talk about MM.
Perfect.
Where like I've been team MM forever. Even this episode, I'm like MM. Like,
come on, girl.
Yeah, come on, girl. Yeah, that's what it felt like. Exactly, because nobody is perfect. Like,
for sure. Exactly, and that's a good point, Mari. Like, no one is perfect. Like, you can't cape up for someone and then ignore their faults. Like, you can't be like, you can't blind yourself to you're so much into this team camp. You can't see someone's bad behavior and go like, I don't see that. I'm team them. So you can't really do that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of MM. They go to get the ring. They go to look at rings. Now they're engaged. They didn't have a ring.
And matching green jumpsuits. I'm like,
and really? Matching green joggers.
Joggers?
Yeah. Joggers. Spring, summer, September. So they start looking at rings. She likes the emerald one that's a little over 4 carats. He's like, all right. Got it. He act like the price is not like a problem.
That's why I thought it was missing. Where's Gil at? Like,
but you know I'm a little light because I'm going through a divorce right now. But you got this, right?
Right.
We didn't see it off camera.
He's like, well, I am. I'm not paying rent right now, though. So that freed me up a little bit. So the ring lady, the lady who's working the ring shop, she's like, oh my gosh, how long have y'all known each other? He's like, well, we've actually known each other 25 years. And so because she picked this ring, he gets on his knee again. He grabs the ring from the ring lady. And the ring lady goes, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
That ring lady don't know what's going on.
She has no clue.
That's kind of cute.
She's so happy. I felt for her. I said, somebody fill her in, please.
Give her the update.
She don't know they went on 2 dates and they've been texting. So MM starts crying. He has proposed. He says he loves her. We get a confessional from her. She's like, she knows what love feels like, and that's why she knew that it wasn't love in her last marriage. And so she said Brandon doesn't make her feel small, he makes her feel big, which I thought was a powerful statement because it was all about Ikechi. She makes me feel small. She makes me feel so small. Well, you try to make her feel small. Actually,
you make yourself feel small, sir.
Exactly. That was your own doing. And so she tells him, she's like, she tells Brandon, things always feel good in the beginning. He said, look, this will last. It's okay to have one bad marriage. We keep all the squares out of our what? Circle.
This sounds like we don't listen to suppressive people. We are in our own world. Brother. Yeah, man. It's always good in the beginning. So you should date for a while before you decide to get married.
She said, no, I'm on this get married immediately trip right now.
Might as well keep going.
Gotta keep it going. Gotta keep the good times rolling. So now they're actually engaged with a ring, which is interesting because we see on the preview for the reunion that he is there, which means they are still together.
Yep.
Yes, and me and Jason are under the impression that he asked Pastor Cal to marry them right then and there.
Yes, that's what it looks like. He's talking to Pastor Cal. He's asking Cal to like marry them on the reunion stage, which to me speaks more to Brandon being a showman,
fitness influencer or something. Like
maybe, I don't know. Like it still screams to me just inauthentic to do something like that. It's just like you're trying a little too hard, my dude.
Like I want to like them, and I think it'd be different if we were like meeting them in a different circumstance. They've been together for a while, whatever. It's just obviously we're on eggshells right now because we're trying to protect our girl, right? We don't want her to get hurt again. We just saw what she went through. And Brandon comes out of nowhere. She may have known him for 25 years, but we haven't.
Right.
Well, she hasn't known him for 25 years. She knew him when they were children, and now she's being reintroduced to him as an adult.
Yeah, I swear, if anybody from 5th grade came back into my life today, I would be like, and what's your name?
Yeah. Like, you can throw that in the trash. I don't actually know you. Like, that was a lifetime ago.
You wouldn't say you've known them for 25 years?
No.
Weird.
That makes me want to go to my 3rd grade picture on Facebook. That you know when you post that picture, are you like tag yourself? I did that like 15 years ago. I want to go.
If I met someone from high school right now, I'd be like,
I'm telling you,
I don't know you.
I don't know you.
You are a stranger. I know.
Yeah, there are
Aysha
people
don't feel that way.
There are people that come up on Facebook that I'm like, why are we friends? And then I have to go look at their history. I'm like, we went to the same high school.
Yeah. I don't know you.
Yeah, it gets tough. I mean, yeah, for me, it's usually a challenge of like, if I see someone in the wild and they're like, oh my gosh, Aysha. And I'm like, what period of my life do I know you from?
You have so many people you know that you just got
this is true.
Dig it.
So many life periods.
It's hard. So that's it for now for MM and Brandon. We check back in real quick with Camille and Thomas. Now they've
real quick.
We bought some stuff for the apartment. Thomas in his confessional said Camille is the companion that he's always longed for. She said, how long have you had this bath mat? He says, gone through about 3 apartments with me. So she has to throw that away.
A look of disgust on her face. She's like, oh, like she looks like how we all look when we were watching most of this episode. Like, oh.
Yes. So they're changing out stuff. They're getting stuff more comfortable. And then she finally goes and changes into the lingerie.
Yay!
I did not anticipate that we were going to get the closing of this storyline. I was like, oh my god, the lingerie is here.
Right. Finally.
And not cringe. I was like, yes.
Right.
They were so flipping cute. So cute.
They get in the bed under the covers. She's giggling out of control.
So cute.
Right.
You just know this is David and Madison. Flirt. You know, if this is David and Madison, you'd be like, ugh, like y'all are doing too much. This is too much. But this was just right.
They're like, have some decency.
Yeah. Tom takes off his top shirt. Right? It doesn't take off everything. Takes off his top shirt. It's still in his like white undershirt. They get in bed together with him in his jeans. Like, it's like they flip the cover up and it's like, okay, this is so funny, cute.
Yeah, it's very cute.
They're too cute. Too cute.
She runs and jumps on this man again. I was like, "Can you stop?"
Yep, she did. She sure did.
Like literally took probably a 5-foot run lead up and jumped on this man. I was like, "No, so this man has brittle bones. Do not jump on him like that."
To twist something.
Yeah.
So we go back to Madison and David. They're now at the hotel that he has promised her, and they walk in. It's completely decorated with purple balloons. And she's like, oh my gosh. And there's like a 30 balloons on the bed. And she's like, this is the nicest thing anyone has done for me. He's like, yeah, your favorite color is purple, right? And she's like, oh my God. And he's like, I got what I want. And she's like, even though you got me, don't take it for granted. Like, I want us to keep having fun. And he said, I'm not trying to fumble this ball.
Not gonna fumble this ball, baby.
Right. So we get a confessional from her. She's like, David is a one-of-a-kind gem. She feels like she's won the lottery. I know Michelle at home is like, what?
Guys, like, I'm telling you, remember when we were talking about it in the first few episodes? Like, she literally just wanted a man to just be considerate of her. Like, the bar was literally so low. That's why we all thought Allan had a chance.
Yeah.
She was like, the men I've dated never do anything nice for me. Girl, what? Like,
exactly. And so they're looking at the bed with all the balloons, and he's like, I don't know where we're gonna sleep. She's like, I don't think we'll do a lot of sleeping. He's like, look. What were you saying?
And here he goes with his smile.
Baby. He said, he's like, look, I just want to be open and honest about how I'm feeling, and I do love you. It's like, oh my God, she hugs him. I love you too. And then we get a confessional. She's like, I had a feeling he's gonna say it tonight. Cut to the purple balloons. Say, I love you.
We have gone from what they want us to believe. We have gone from their first kiss,
yes,
to I love you, all in one episode within 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Hey, look, what she's gonna say is, what about MM? She's engaged, and he said he loved her at the ring shop.
Yeah, and we're just as sus on their relationship as we are on yours.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know what the argument would be.
It's so, yeah, they're about to have a good night, I guess.
Well, I mean, and when he tells her he loves her, like, and she does give it back. Like, I was not sure if she would give it back in the moment, but she did. She says, people throw that word around, but I know when David says it, he means it. This is what real care and support are. I've never had this from a partner, ever. I said, I feel like I just watched 15 episodes of this man trying his damn hardest to care about you and to support you as much as he possibly could. How dare you? How dare you, Madison?
She couldn't see a single thing.
The nerve
that Allan was doing because she was looking at David. She's worried about what David was doing.
Didn't see a single thing he did for her. I was like, wow, that is outrageous.
Right. Then we get a couple of quick hits. We get like Camille telling Thomas happy birthday. Brandon is at MM's place, and he's like, it was love at first sight.
Making himself right at home. He has moved right on in. He got all his stuff there.
Rico was getting treats from him like that was his dad.
So, oh my God.
Because
I think he has moved in.
MM got him feeding Rico, walking Rico. She said, you gonna do something because you ain't paying the mortgage. So now you're gonna walk the dog, you're gonna feed the dog. That's your dog now. You're gonna take care of because I'm busy working, baby. I'm busy working.
So we finally make it to the big event. Beforehand, David tells us like we're going to hang out with Camille and Thomas. Oh, and everybody else for Thomas's birthday. So we getting people arriving for Thomas's birthday. Michelle's not excited for today. We get a confessional from Madison saying that she tried to reach out to Allan again, but he respectfully declined. MM does bring Brandon. Madison notices on MM's hand. She's like, oh, I see you got a big ring on your finger. And they coincidentally are by Camille. And so MM's like, so I got engaged.
She loves dropping bombs on people like, hey, I'm engaged.
I'm so confused.
The look on Camille's face is like, huh? Excuse me?
It's like you're my girl, so I'm trying not to judge you. I'm not trying not to say nothing. I'm supporting you through the ups and the downs. But girl.
What's she saying? Like, that confessional with her.
Yeah, Camille and her confessional. She said, I'm a little shooketh. And then we get a confessional from David saying, that smile from MM is similar to the smile I have with Madison. Oh,
David, I didn't even know that you knew who MM was until right now.
Ooh, great point.
Like, I don't think I've ever seen you two in the same scene together. Like once.
It's so, So we find out MM has not told her mom yet because she doesn't want her mom to be caught off guard. You don't think she'll be caught off guard when you tell her, oh, I've been engaged to this man for a few months?
When you knock on her door and be like, come on, mom, get married. Let's go. Like, that is the most, like, procrastinistic. Like, you're so scared to actually tell your mother this. Like,
because it's crazy.
She knows it's crazy. That's why she won't tell her mother. She knows it's nuts.
Yeah.
And she's going to do that. She's going to wait till the day before the wedding to be like, hey, mom, Like, I put this off as long as I possibly can.
Yeah.
But I'm getting married tomorrow. And mom's gonna be like, so you telling me you got married at first sight, and then you are getting married, like, and telling me the day before. What is wrong with you, child? Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, like what's the plan? They go, like, what if her and Brandon go to a courthouse, they get married, and then she tells her mom, "Hey mom, I'm bringing over my husband." She's like, "Oh, okay." And it's not EKG, it's Brandon.
Yeah.
She said
That's the best way to
pulled
do
a little
it, right?
switcheroo. So we get this, like, you know, Thomas is kind of thanking everybody for being there. Thomas says, like, he never thought he'd make it to 28. And then Allan was like, yeah, because you live so dangerously.
That was funny.
But actually, like, Thomas is turning, like, what, 43?
Yeah, I think so.
And so then they also take this moment to congratulate on her engagement, her and Brandon on their engagement. And Allan's like, look, I just want to say, I really appreciate how everybody is always so supportive of everything that happens in this group. We get a confessional from Madison's like, I actually don't feel very supported from this group.
Yeah.
Well,
no kidding.
You
I wonder
hurt
why.
2 of the people.
Like, I wonder why. That again, just like the nerve is just pouring out of her ears at this point. It's like, how could you say such a dumb thing? Like, why would you guys support us? It's as if, like I said, she just wants us to forget everything that happened.
Yeah,
like,
she's like, I'm happy and in love. What's the problem?
Why won't you support us like you support and Brandon? Because Brandon wrecked his own home. He didn't wreck anyone else's home. He wrecked his own house.
Right.
You know, you wrecked someone else's house in the group. Like, come on, girl. Get real.
So who feels like she can relate to Madison and David, I guess, is like, so Madison, how are things going? And Madison starts to answer and just like, yeah, we're just being very vulnerable and intentional. And it's kind of like Allan and Michelle have no interest in listening to this. So we don't really hear the full context of that conversation. But David's like, all right, y'all, it's been fun. I gotta go. Work calls. And then what did Michelle say? She was like, bye.
She's like, ta-ta, losers.
Oh, yeah, ta-ta, losers. And starts
loud.
laughing. And David's like, that effing laugh.
Oh, boy.
He's like, oh. And then he goes over to Michelle. He's like, hey, Michelle, can we talk? And she's like, oh, no, like, I'm okay. He's like, well, I just want you to know I'm really sorry.
And the way, like, and the way, because Michelle will clock this and be like, that was not for me.
She's like, that was for him.
And the way when someone says, I don't want to talk to you, and then you say what you were going to say anyway, like, that is not for that other person. That's for you to try and save face and try and look good and try and say, well, I apologize. So
right. What'd you expect?
Yeah.
So
awkward. This whole thing is so awkward.
And the way he's like, I just want to apologize because, you know, I should have been more honest. This is the same apology you've given her 5 different times. Switch it up.
Talking about different things.
Switch it up, man. Switch it up. Say something different.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, say something better. Come on.
I'm really sorry. And so he walks off, and Carla's like, why do you want to talk to him? Like you said, she's like, that wasn't for me. And then Camille off to the side is like, look, I can't take any more bombs dropping. Thomas is like, yes, please, let's just have a normal time. Then in walks
the room darkened.
This dark
thunder, boom, boom.
In walks
lightning.
Why are you here? Ikechi walks in. And Brandon ask who's this? And she's like, that's my ex-husband.
As if he didn't know. Like,
yes, exactly.
Come on.
And so Brandon walks up to Ikechi. He's like,
no, he doesn't walk up. Ikechi is like probably Ikechi's probably 20 feet away from Brandon. Brandon stands up. He's like, hey man, I'm Brandon. Like,
he said, how's it going, boss? I'm Brandon. And then Ikechi acts like he's never like met another human being in his life. And he's like,
no, because I am that person. I never know what to do with the handshakes. I'm like,
are you relating to Ikechi? No, he wouldn't even make eye contact either, though. Like, it was like this whole, like, I know you're here with so I'm not going to acknowledge your existence. So I think it's weird that you're talking to me at all. It wasn't even just the hand and that. It was like, he's like, why are you talking to me?
Yeah, it was very, very weird, very awkward.
Yeah.
Extremely.
And so then we get a commercial and then come back and then Brandon's like, okay. He's like, Ikechi, you might be a little confused, but I'm MM's you might
so weird.
you might
So
be a little
weird.
confused. I'm MM's fiance. So thank you. Seriously.
He was like, you didn't act weird enough when I introduced myself. You didn't act hurt. You didn't act upset. So I want to make sure that you get I am your replacement. Are you not upset by that? I'm trying to upset you. Are you not upset? To Ikechi's credit, he's just like, okay, congrats. Like, cool. Like he does a good job of acting nonplussed, like in this at all. He's just like, all right. And
to Ikechi's credit, I'll never give him credit.
I mean, listen, like not to his credit, but I mean, he didn't give them the reaction that they wanted to be like, oh, good luck, boss. He's like, okay, congrats. Good.
He tries. That's so annoying. He tries to act so unbothered, and it's to hurt her.
Yes, for sure.
And so they offer Ikechi something, or like either to sit down, or he offer him something, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm about to get out of here in a little bit. I got a date after this." They're like, "Oh, a date? Yeah, it's open season."
There was a little stutter before the date. He's like, I have something at a date.
And Mem's getting married. I'm also moving on with my life as well.
Yeah.
I also have prospects that are happening.
Right.
But I mean, listen, he came there. He came there because production threatened him. You need to come here or we will find you. He's like, all right, I'm gonna come there. And I feel like that's been the whole thing, the whole season. Like, all right, I'll come there. You didn't say how long I had to stay here. I'll show up for 5 minutes and leave. I will film your little segment for your little TV show, but I'll get up and leave whenever I want. I feel like that's probably the situation. He probably did not want to come there, but production was like,
I agree.
You signed a contract to film, and we are in our right to find you if you don't film, so you got to come and film.
He was like, so he shares he has a date, right? And they're like, ooh, do you want to share? And he's like, not at all.
No. He's like, nope.
And so
I made it up on the spot.
Right. Exactly. I don't even have a name made up, so I can't expand.
She lives in Canada, actually. She's my girlfriend from Canada. So, you know.
We're not gonna be able to use that excuse anymore.
So then kisses Brandon and then walks over. She said, I'm gonna talk to my ex-husband.
Obnoxious kiss. I'm sorry.
That's so obnoxious. Making a whole show out of their whole relationship. Like, really, this is what you want to be doing. This is how you want to be acting. And then we have been championing you the whole season.
Yeah.
About how mature, how composed you are.
I don't care.
This was not it.
Keep doing it. I don't care. It was weird, but still, let up. Don't let up. Keep your foot on his neck, please. Keep doing it. You're doing great. I don't care.
And so she walks up to Ikechi. She's like, "Can we talk?" And he says, "Nah, I'm good."
Why?
He won't even look at her.
Why, MM? Why'd you even do this, MM? Why?
He won't even look her in the face. He's like, "Nah, I'm good." And she's like, "Well, I hope since I can't do this privately, I'll just do it publicly. I hope that you take my apology. It's been nothing but care because I really do care. I do care. And I hope you know that." And he's not even responding. He's just standing there like it almost looks like he's losing the color from his face as he's sitting there. And then and
like, I just wish she didn't play into his nonsense, his antics, because she knew that's what she was going to get. I don't know why she even bothered with this.
Yeah. And then we get a confessional from him. He feels vindicated. He said, "I knew the whole time I was made to feel I was wrong, but all she wanted was somebody to play husband and just somebody to come in who just wanted it as much as she did, and then she was just going to be married to
like,
them."
Yeah, that's exactly what everyone thought they were going to get.
Like, I'm sorry, Ikechi. This is married at first sight. What does that mean? You are getting married to a stranger. So you are supposed to make it work with the person that you are getting married to, no matter who it is. So stop acting like this is some different concept that she was ready for marriage and was willing to make it work no matter what. And you're shaming for her for it.
Yeah, and saying, and your main excuse of why y'all can't get closer is like, we don't know each other.
That's the point. That's the point.
Come on now.
You expect us to get married, stay together after 8 weeks? You did someone lie to him and tell him like this wasn't his second time applying? He knows what married at first sight is.
Oh my god.
He is literally shaming her for being committed to the idea of marriage and was gonna make it work for this process, no matter how awful he was being. So then they like Ikechi leaves, and so Allan is like, so Madison, you text me, right? Like you wanted to meet, like why? And she's like, well, I just wanted to like close it out. And he's like, why? What needs to be closed out? And she's like,
this is a tab. This is a bill. You want to close it out? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah. Like at a bar. That's what Madison's used to.
He's like, I had to settle up. She's like, I was just trying to extend an olive branch because you and I have not talked one-on-one. He's like, yeah.
Again, whose fault is that?
Right.
Could have done that at the retreat, but whatever.
And he's like, look, I have no ill will towards you or David. I took a hit and I was down a little bit, but I had this revelation, like, I'm a good guy. And she's like, yeah, you are a good guy. And he's like, and I've been feeling better about myself. What?
I thought he quoted some rap lyrics there. That's a rap song.
What is?
It is. Yeah, I took a few licks and I'm like back up. That's a rap song. I can't remember which one, but it is. Sorry, keep going.
That one went over my head.
We know Allan got some thug in him, so that's not a surprise.
He realized that he didn't want to be, and then Juan goes hanging and banging, and he's like, yeah, that's it. He's like, I met like 1 or 2 girls that really like changed my perspective. Like, I just want to be with, with one person, and like, I'm not trying to like date around, and eventually I will find that right person for me. And so that was Allan's like closing out of whatever between him and Madison, and hopefully Madison can leave him alone at this point because, girl, he does not want to talk to you. And then, we're celebrating Thomas's birthday, of course, and he says he's getting laid tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a glove, if you know what I mean.
Oh God.
Please no.
I would never.
Fits like a glove.
So we get a few quotes from next time at the reunion. Like next episode is probably part 1 of the reunion. Then we'll get part 2, and then we'll get a Where Are They Now. So you get us for 3 more weeks, ladies and gentlemen. I think the only other things was like Ikechi saying like, who gives a F about something, and David's like, I shot my shot, man.
Yeah, I mean, Allan's like, Allan's asking for specifics. Like, when did you think it was okay for you to text your friend's wife? Like, when did that start? I don't think we're actually going to get any real answer. I really don't. I don't think we're going to come.
We do.
I don't think we're going to leave this knowing more than we did right now.
Right.
I really don't. I think they're going to take that to their grave.
Yeah.
I mean, they should have been taking it all to the grave, but David's a bad actor, so just tell us the truth.
I really do hope that the producers have some other receipts that they can show.
That's what I'm saying. But you were so pessimistic earlier about that. You're like, no,
well, not that they're banging in the apartment, just like more.
No one's
insight.
thinking that.
Like, that's what you said, that they were in their apartment doing something.
No, but I'm saying. No, I think that.
What did you say?
I said they have cameras in their apartment, so even if it's like, oh, we're gonna stop by David's apartment to pick up something, you see Madison and David together.
No,
like, there's more.
No,
I'm saying there is more evidence. So if they had something, they could show us.
I don't think they were that stupid. I don't think they were. I don't think we'll get that. I think we'll get something else, maybe a hot mic moment. I don't know.
Yeah, I think if there is something, it would be very interesting to see. So looking forward to the reunion. Usually they pack the most interesting stuff in the part 2, so just be prepared for that. Like, if we get any blow up moments, we might be on the next time on.
Yeah, the lighting is very weird on that preview. I was like, everyone looks so shiny. It looks like a very weird vibe.
And we do know that the reunion is 1 year after this episode that we just saw, so that'll be very interesting.
Is that different from like how they normally do their
usually it's 6 months. It's usually 6 months after.
Okay,
is what we usually get. Because they usually will do reunion and Where Are They Now in the same like month. So it's usually all 6 months after decision date. This is different because this is a whole ass year. So that's
and we don't know
interesting.
We don't know the Where Are They Now timeline.
We do know it was posted in the Facebook group of when
it's like right after the reunion.
I want to say it was like November of 2024. I think was when most of that, when the reunion and Where They Now took place, was like November 2024. That's what I recall it being.
Yeah, so the reunion was the beginning of November 2024, and then a month later that is when they filmed Where Are They Now.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Cool.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much for sticking with us. Make sure you go subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed. Make sure you go join the the Perfect Match podcast Facebook group this week, where the password is It's Not Vanilla. Mari, where can people keep up with you?
I'm over on the Recap Kickback podcast. Me and Chappelle doing whatever we want to. So go to recapkickback.com in order to subscribe. We've been talking about like the NAACP Image Awards. We've been talking about the SAG Awards. Chappelle's done some really cool brand steals over there. It's just been really fun. You can go to youtube.com/@recapkickback to see all of our podcasts, because they're all on video format, just like this one. And then while you're at it, go to crimescenepod.com. That's crime, SEEN pod.com, and subscribe. And just listen wherever you get your podcast, any podcatcher, you can put Crime Scene in there, and you'll hear a familiar voice, because Jason joined us this week to talk about what was it?
Burden of Guilt.
Burden of Guilt. Yes. Yeah.
You and Sarah love to make me talk about the most depraved of humanity.
Yeah.
And this was no different. This might have been the most awful, depraved person that
messed up
I've come across. So we tried to get some levity out of it, which is I think part of the reason y'all bring me on to those awful documentaries, to try and give a little light there. So that was fun. It was fun. It was fun. A fun time on the crime scene. It was a great episode. I love coming on that podcast because it's something so different than what I usually talk about.
Exactly. So if you want to hear me, Jason, and Sarah Carradine, just make sure you subscribe and leave us 5-star reviews and all that, so everybody else can hear us. And then I'm over on Blue Sky, aka The Good Place, at Mari Talks Too Much, Too Like the Number 2. That's the only place I'm at. So that's it for me.
Awesome. What about you, Jason?
You can find me on Blue Sky, JR33D. As far as podcasting goes, I'm in a variety of places right now. You heard about Crime Scene from Mari. You know about this. If you're watching this, you might also know that we also cover Love is Blind, me, Aysha, and Mary Krokowski, on this same feed that you may have gotten this podcast from. You can also find me on my own podcast with my co-host Marissa Garza, The Good Pod, where we talk about The Good Wife, of that show from the mid-aughts of 2000s. And we also talk about the spinoff of that show, Elsbeth, that is currently airing its second season right now. We do week-to-week recaps on that as well as Good Wife. You can also find me on the We Know Scripted TV side of Rob Has a Podcast, talking about the show Daredevil with Sausage Joseph. So a lot going on for me. You can find me in a number of places. If any of that stuff tickles your fancy, you can find me talking about it. Aysha, what about you?
Yeah, y'all can follow me at Aysha like Aysha. That's AYSHA like ASIA. Most recently, I was podcasting about The Traitors over on the Black by Reality podcast, talking about episode 10 of The Traitors. And yeah, talking about Love is Blind. And yeah, we're nearing the end with that. We got the weddings coming up, and then the reunion this week. All that. Yep. So Jason, Mary, and I will be covering that in one podcast. So once you watch the finale, don't go looking for the podcast just yet. It will come out after the reunion. But yeah, we hope to see you next week when we talk about episode 19, which is the first part of the reunion. Bye.